Welcome back to Kevin Pollak's Chat Show. I am, as always, Chat Show. If you're joining us live, hey, sorry we're so damn late. Latest we've ever been. My apologies, I do not enjoy this. American Airlines tried to stop me from getting here today, and to them I say... Did I mention I'm an Executive Platinum member? 4 million miles under my belt. So when I say I'm experienced...
Did you get to meet Sam Elliott yet?
Sam Elliott did not sit next to me. His mustache did.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
He ponied up to me the way he has in 14 films by saying, "How about another beer, mijo?"
That didn't happen.
No?
No.
Or Sam Elliott ever.
No.
Yeah, it was flights cancellations and just clusterfuckico today for me on the American Airlines.
Did you get swamped at the gate, as was my hope?
Because I tweeted with the flight number I was on.
Yeah.
I tried to talk to the pilot directly through Twitter.
Yeah.
And said, can we please pull away from the gate?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then somebody said, that sounds a little bit like, you know who I am. And I wrote back, misunderstand my fear of being late more, dick.
Yeah.
I tweeted that.
I appreciate that.
Got right up in it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, right?
Also, don't they know who you are?
Well, apparently the pilot said to who I am. I'm just back from Nashville, and boy's my twang tired. I want to thank the fine folks there at the wonderful Zanies. I had a great time. It was fantastic. And I like when I get there and there's nothing else going on, like, I don't know, Vanderbilt University graduation and the steeplechase. Big weekend in Nashville, and still we had big crowds, which shocked me.
And still, with you there, the Jewish population of Nashville
showed up and said,
doubles to 2.
And when I got off the plane, they greeted me with, Shalom, y'all. Come on, Sammy.
It's been a while since I've been in Nashville. I forgot.
Also, while we were away, apparently, Osama bin Laden is dead. No?
We already covered this.
Oh, what? What do you mean we already covered this?
We covered this with our last guest, Eugene Levy.
Really?
Now you're just taking victory laps.
Oh, shit. I'm celebrating? I'm doing the thing you shouldn't do.
You're celebrating again.
I'm celebrating
which is fine. I think, by the way, Seth Meyers covered it best on Saturday Night Live last weekend, because these reports were coming out, he had a gun, no, he didn't have a gun, but he resisted. We're totally fine with the Navy SEALs just running in there and shooting him in the head.
It's our first successful and shared assassination, and I'm pretty damn proud of
I don't care if he was asleep on the couch. We just walk right up to him, shh, boom. That would have been fine, too.
I like, actually, that we're seeing the thing when he's got the blanket on, he's got that little shit 14-inch television.
Yeah.
I like that he was suffering like that with the little shitty TV from 1974, suffering horribly right before we shot him in the eye like Mo Green. I like that a lot. Yeah.
I didn't.
You didn't put that together?
I didn't take it personally.
Yeah. He shot him in the eye like Mo Green.
Because it was business.
And also, I like it because it was business.
And this is the business.
Right. I also...
Now, that was an excellent...
That was beautiful.
An excellent Strasbourg I just did for you.
Yes. You forgot the little...
I did it. You didn't hear it. You were talking over my perfect little chest cough.
I'm so sorry.
How dare you?
Bin Laden is dead. Long live his porn collection. Which you can find now at www.lamespornever.org, I'm guessing.
J-Mac told me something really funny today.
Did he? What did J-Mac share?
He was saying that, because about middlemen, that they were, before like you look at any porn, they were doing this video, they did like this 15-second clip for middlemen before everything. And I just thought it was on.
Where were they doing this?
That they would, before you, where or when?
What is the portal which one would see this?
I don't know. I don't watch porn.
Oh, he's saying you go to a porn site and they were showing middlemen as a trailer before
before you watched anything. And he's like, well, that puts a damper on things.
Wow.
That's like watching Fast Food Nation as you enter McDonald's.
You're not wrong, Sam.
You don't want to know where it came from.
Or one time I was at a restaurant and they had Food Network on.
Jesus.
That's similar.
That's beautiful.
You don't want to see the cows being manhandled before you eat them.
You rather see Weight Watchers commercials?
You just want your food.
Yeah.
You want the pornography. You don't want to know.
I don't want to see a legitimate movie trailer when I go onto the interwebs looking for porn.
Exactly.
No.
You don't want to know.
In fact, I remember being interviewed for some 10 questions or whatever for one of those Hump magazines, and somebody said, "Really? I got to open the Hump magazine and your face is looking at me? Thanks for that." Yeah, sorry. Oh, hi, they're still there. How are you? So, please, fellas, if you could just let me, I was just DVRing for the kids. Just hold on a second, please. Let me just think. Could you help me hide my porn? Have you seen the Dancing with the Stars? This is great shit. I just love that he was suffering so horribly right before. You know, with the giant mansion, he was hiding from the 3 wives and the 26 kids, let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Sammy, what were you doing in the last 10 days since we last pre-recorded Eugene Levy?
I legitimately can't remember what I had for breakfast.
Wow. I bet we find out later.
It's been a haze.
It's
been a drunken haze.
Well, why? Celebrating Cubs win? Cubs win?
Yeah, why not?
Sure.
Hey, the Cubs beat the
wow.
San Francisco Giants
Can't believe
the other
you're gonna
day.
go there. Did they sweep them?
Did you happen to see that? I don't know, but they're probably going to win the series against them at Wrigley. You know, it was actually it was adorable. Yesterday, the Giants managed to get 3 runs in the game, and we're like, guys, we're not going to be able to hold this. The bullpen's probably going to. And then the elves that live in Brian Wilson's beard did some sort of rain dance.
Did they?
And then they got the umpires to call the game in the middle of the 7th inning so that the Cubs didn't have a chance to win the game that should have been theirs. But that's okay. That's okay. I still think that they're going to...
Were they behind when the rain came?
They were.
But you're just assuming they would have come back.
It's more than an assumption. I had inside knowledge.
Oh, I see. You saw into the future?
I did.
Well, it must be nice when you beat a team that's won a World Series.
It was a wonderfully fulfilling victory.
For a Cub fan.
I can't
to
tell
be
you.
near someone who's won a World Series.
They did. They were hoping a little bit of that luck would rub off on them.
And luck was the key word.
Yeah. Let's be honest here.
Well, all the best to Rags, Rigetti, and my San Francisco Giants as they struggle through that victory lap that is the unfortunate season after winning the World Series. Never pretty.
No, it's tough.
Unless you're a Yankees. Has anyone ever, other than the Yankees, won too? I don't think it's...
Yes, the Toronto Blue Jays did it in 92 and 93, I do believe.
Who won the Stanley Cup in 92 and 93? 91, 92. Yeah, Penguins.
And the Phillies almost did it.
I had to be like,
The Phillies almost
When did
won
this
back
become
to
Norm Macdonald's show? Can we stop everybody with the sports?
You asked a question.
I missed you, Sammy.
Norm Macdonald can't ever come on the show because he'll know that I yelled at him at that restaurant for wearing sweatpants.
That restaurant? The Galley.
The Galley.
He was wearing sweats
He was
at
wearing
the Galley.
sweatpants, and I'm like, who's this asshole wearing sweatpants? And then our makeup girl was like, that was Norm Macdonald.
Yeah.
And I said, well, he's still an asshole for wearing sweatpants at a restaurant.
Officially, fantastic asshole. I think he'd be the first to sign up.
That was actually the last porn movie that Osama was watching. Fantastic asshole.
I'm going to segue back to our makeup artist, as our very own Jennifer Zide this may be her last official show.
She's going to go and get married.
She's going to go and get married and leave us in the dust. So, mucho thanko and gracioso to Jennifer Zide, doing a fantastic job over these many, many, many months. She's really been our top-notch since Kate Schroeder left in a huff. I have to thank the Gorin brothers for normally giving me my wonderful hat. They did not, I could never figure that out. They did not hat me this time around. I'm literally off the plane, right from the airport. Forgive the smell, those of you with smell-o-vision at home. All right. I think we've covered all the news. Jamie, did you have anything to share? You were at Disney World. Did you not bring any photographic evidence back with you?
No, I'm not a photo taker.
Oh, that's right.
But I did see Davy Jones in concert, and it was awesome.
Let's hear a little more about the Davy Jones in concert.
He sang my favorite Monkey song, which is actually a Mike song, Papa Jean's Blues.
Where does he get off singing a Mike song?
I know. But I enjoyed it, nevertheless. And then I sang along to all of the Monkey songs, and I was probably the youngest person there.
Yeah, what was the average age of the audience?
Know.
61?
Yes, pretty much.
And how does Davy look? He was always boyish.
He looks good. I tweeted a photo of it last week.
Thank you for saying I'd still hit that.
No. I'm a Mike Nesmith girl. No way. No.
Oh,
not Davy
I got
Jones.
the special hat online. I know who your favorite is.
No. He's not an I love the Monkees, but Davy's not. I'm a Mike Nesmith girl.
Did he talk with that incredibly charming British accent between songs?
Yes. He had a little banter.
Did he have a few monkey stories?
No, I mean, he had banter, jokes, some monkey stories. He took a few cracks at Dolan's. It was great.
Did he?
Yeah.
Wow. That's not easy to do.
But they're touring. The Monkees are touring, minus Mike, of course.
Greek Theater, July 17th.
Yes.
I got to try to move some dates around. I don't see how we're going to
I'm
miss
making
this.
my friends take a quiz before I get them tickets. I've decided. I'm like, I'm not having no fakers.
You haven't seen him play as a full band, though. And
Well, you never will because Mike hasn't played with them for like 20
but
years.
3 of the 4. Before you see 3 of the 4, you might want to check. Has anyone ever seen Peter Tork and Father Time in the same room at the same time?
You know, you and Peter Tork have something in common. You were both in that Celebrate the Season parade in Pittsburgh.
Oh, nice. Were we in it the same year? I don't think so. No. You know who else was in that? Christina Aguilera. How about that? And Judge Mills Lane. He was in the same year I was. Remember Judge Mills Lane?
Of course. He was actually a boxing
Yeah, he did the
referee.
Holyfield Tyson fight where he chewed off his ear.
I was ringside for that.
Were you?
I was.
Did you get a piece of the ear?
Worst seat, it's nothing but sports. Worst seat in the world for the bite, as it was known.
Oh.
The Tyson bite. Because when you're ringside, there's no instant replay and there's no announcers.
Right.
So literally, MGM Grand, everyone there for the live fight had no idea what happened because they kept clinching and then it was called off. So you just thought, what happened during one of those clinches? I mean, there was not even a rumor of he might have bit him. And you watched all the replays, you see him spit it out. No, you ringside, you miss it. It happens like that. I mean, what happened? I don't know. And then there's gunplay on the way out. By the way, my favorite part of the fight was the way in. You have not seen Pimps on Parade. This is the action with the cane.
Yeah.
Walking in, just the crazy ass hats. I mean, it was. I was like that. I couldn't get enough. Oh my goodness.
I think that's how we should start the show from now on.
Pimps on Parade?
Pimps on Parade.
Yeah.
Like a nice slow walk in from outside from the parking lot. Just really take our time getting to the guests.
Listen, you should charge more. Jewish Pimps on Parade. Seriously, honey, you should charge more.
Look at this studded yarmulke.
We have some Ask Kevins. If only there were a graphic.
Ask Kevin.
What? Kevin, just wondering if there is any fallout from openly saying Tom Hanks isn't the nice guy his image projects. I saw Colin Hanks on your show, and this wasn't directly mentioned, even though you had already by then alluded to Tom being a jerk. Now with Levy, you say Ron Howard is genuine and Tom Hanks is the devil. I mean, it's great that you can be candid, but could you be more specific? I once heard of George Lucas arriving at a door at the same time as an ILM worker and expecting him to hold the door and let him pass first. But weird as that is, it's the only personal slag I've ever heard against Lucas. So I think specifics are vital. Thanks. William LaRochelle from Toronto. Bill, if I can call you that, buy a fucking clue. It's called sarcasm. It starts with an S. Sorry you missed it. I know everything is so nice and friendly in Canada as an entire country. I'm going to generalize. Based on the old classic joke, how do you get 1,500 Canadians out of the pool? You say, please get out of the pool. Seriously, it was sarcasm. Everyone knows Tom Hanks is the devil. Kevin Spacey is Kaiser Soze. All right.
I once watched Ron Howard and Tom Hanks beat a puppy to death.
Beat a puppy to death just because they said they could? Mm-hmm. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yo. Wow.
Oh, Peter Falk showed up.
How about that? Oh, so the next Ask Kevin from Tracy Austin. When touring, what do you do during the day to keep yourself occupied, or do you stay up all night and sleep all day? Well, Jamie would tell you that I, in fact, sleep all day. But she's wrong. I would sleep all day, but she texts me and wakes me up. That's usually what happens. That stops me from sleeping all day. When I'm touring and stuck in a hotel room.
Shut your phone off.
No, I can't. I don't shut my phone off in case of an emergency.
Oh, what? Like Edie got out?
Yeah, exactly.
Cats on the roof.
You know, it's funny. Every now and then I'll go to a city where I really want to check it out and check out whatever museums or what have yous. But usually now with the chat show, there's so much damn work to catch up on, quite frankly. I get the 70-page large form dossier from JMac on Friday, Saturday, and then it's just holed up in the hotel room to boil it down to a solid 7 pages.
You don't have to do a 7 a.m. Friday morning.
Friday morning, I'm dead. Friday morning, I'm up at the crack of my ass, do press all day till about noon, and then I sleep to get to those 2 shows at night. Saturday, my one day to sleep in, I get a text around 10:30.
It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
No, so I would sleep if and I could. That from Tracy Austin. She did lovely work in the television, didn't Tracy Austin?
Tracy Gold?
Gold, probably Gold, yeah.
Growing Pains?
Gotta be. Who's
Yep.
Tracy Austin? One of our fans. Tracy
Stone
Austin's
Cold
been around
Steve
for a long time.
Austin's long-lost sister.
All right.
Tracy, it's Daytona Tracy, I believe.
It is
That's
Daytona Tracy.
Because that's my job, to keep up with all these peeps.
Yeah.
That's how I connect, you know, we got to connect with them.
Whoa.
You're not used to drinking scotch.
I'm not used to. I started with, God, when my 21st birthday, they got me a bottle of Chivas Regal.
Whoa.
21. Whoa. Yeah.
Was that when Naked Carson came out?
Whoa. Hey now. Horrible, horrible day.
Sorry?
All right.
Your
Let's go to the
21st
Larry
birthday.
King
Go and
game,
tell the
shall
story.
we?
Save it for another time.
Yeah. If you want a chance at winning a T-shirt, a Kevin Pollak's Chat Show T-shirt, all you have to do is write a good Larry King game and send it on into contact@kevinpollakschatshow.com. That's contact@kevinpollakschatshow.com. Today's winner, Matt Valentine. Matt, I don't know that we have your shirt size. Please email us ASAP and let us know the shirt size, and we'll send one off to you for this Larry King game. For our guest today, who's sitting patiently, we're looking for a bad Larry King, that moment when Larry says something about himself, the TMI, too much information moment, and then bumper to the phone, a funny-sounding city. This one offered up by Matt Valentine. As twilight falls upon my television career, I've decided to write a tell-all book about my life. No stone is left unturned. Learn all about Larry, from all my marriages to the day I got kicked out of Hebrew school for having too much foreskin. Blowing Rock, North Carolina, what's your question? Blowing Rock.
Too much foreskin.
Too much foreskin.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Fair enough. I remember that was a very awkward day of Hebrew school when they inspected our foreskin.
Yeah.
I want to make sure everyone's here rightly.
By the way, did we talk about the revelation through the Lenny Bruce thing at the Carnegie Hall about the circumcision?
No.
Well, you know, you can't have a tattoo and get buried in a Jewish cemetery as a
Yes,
Jew. Why?
that's correct.
Because you can't be marked or have any changes.
Right. You have
What
to,
is a circumcision? Big mark, a huge change.
Here's the catch.
Yes.
Here's the catch.
Sam has an answer.
I don't have an
catch?
answer. Here's the best I can guess.
All right.
Best I can guess. We've been doing circumcision since Abraham, the first Jew. The rule about the Jewish cemetery had to have come thousands of years later, is my guess. So the one rule supersedes everything else.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Now, I don't know the Talmud.
Right.
I haven't spoken to the elders.
Let's
But
get
that's
the
my
elders
guess.
on the phone, shall
That's
we?
my guess. Plus, they made a special exemption for the Holocaust survivors who had the numbers on the arm.
Well, that was wise and kind of them.
I'm saying
Yes.
there was discussion. Would they not be allowed in? And they let them in. There's a special prayer you say, and bada bing, you're in.
I think if somebody burns ink onto you against your will, you should, yeah. I want to apologize ahead of time to my guest, to my family, and to all of you who watch and or listen on a regular basis, if I should pass out at some point during this. Not that I needed any help, but this is not iced tea.
Right out there.
Mama, wait for me. I'm coming home. I want to thank, before we go any further, the fine folks at Bowflex. Look at this. Huh? Look at the cut of that. Bowflex, Tread Climber, Info Kit available to you. Call 1-800-436-6063. A proud sponsor of Kevin Pollak's Chat Show. Go online, walkwithkevin.com. That was not a motion picture about the early Native Americans. Walk with Kevin. It is where you need to go online, walkwithkevin.com, for your Tread Climber Info Kit. 1-800-436-6063. Thank you, Bowflex, for putting me in touch with my body. Let me just get the check. I am so very, very pleased to welcome my guest today, finally, after being 6 hours late getting here from the airport, and then dabbling about sports for 42 minutes before we had a chance to welcome him. We met briefly, I think the first time was at the UCB Theater in Los Angeles.
Oh, the night of 140 tweets.
The night of 140 tweets? No. Something else there.
Show.
Yeah.
Tom Lennon show.
Tom Lennon's big...
You were at the Star Trek premiere. I don't know if you maybe met briefly, but it was probably in passing.
We were at the Star Trek premiere.
We all were.
I was not
Sam.
allowed to talk to the cast. I thought that was made clear.
Oh,
You don't remember
okay.
that? You're not allowed to talk to the cast. But I know... Yeah. So, anyways...
It's my job to remember things.
Yeah,
I'm
boy,
sorry.
is it. Oh, Lordy. Oh, boy. And so, anyways, I'm constantly reaching out to actors and creative types that I admire and am interested in to be a guest on the show. That's how we ultimately get people. Although, my follow-up with Zooey Deschanel, congratulations to her and her camp for her Fox pilot getting picked up, was through Twitter. We got connected through Twitter, people yelling at her to do the show. And now I'm following up with her manager, finally dealing with somebody's representative. I took 111 shows. But still made the contact with the person themselves. So,
Well, wait a minute.
yes.
Didn't you get Tom Hanks' assistant?
Well, after talking to Tom personally. Yeah.
You went up with But I mean, technically, you had a back and forth with Zoe personally on Twitter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's all
Right.
good. So I have to constantly reach out.
Okay, I just want to make sure that Tom Hanks was our first person to go talk to schedule it with somebody else.
He did not say talk to the hand.
He did not say talk to
No.
the hand.
No, he's the devil. But
Was he
was
using
kind
that
enough
hand to
say-
strangle a puppy?
Yeah, he had a puppy in one hand, big cocktail in the other,
Yeah,
and then a third hand came from somewhere.
that's the Tom we love.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm glad we could clear that up. But
Not eating up valuable time at all.
yeah, no. So it actually would be hilarious. We've got to get somebody in here sometime and never get to them.
Matt Damon?
Yes, that's been done. So, anyways, I was really thrilled when he said yes right away and that he'd actually seen the show. I always find that surprising when a guest has seen the show. I assume we're banned from all what they call real show business. But what's known here in the interwebs is traditional media. But it turns out he had seen the show, and I am super excited. But I don't know if it's being heightened by the fact that I feel bad that it took 111 shows to not only have a hysterically talented and dramatically talented actor here, but also our first Asian American. I feel like we need to talk about that right out of the boot. Please welcome John Cho. What the hell? Does that seem odd?
Isn't Matthew Perry
111
Asian?
Matthew Perry. Some thought Doug Benson. We said no, no. Matthew Perry. You are correct. My God, you're the second. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Honest to goodness. So, did someone force you to watch the show? Did you lose a bet? What happened?
I was trying to remember. I feel like maybe
You got a friend
I saw
that was
you
on?
or heard you on NPR and
Talk about
floated
it.
over
Right.
to check it out. I thought this is brilliant. Couldn't believe this was happening. Although now that I'm in the middle of it, I'm fucking scared.
Wildly underwhelmed.
Very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable.
Now you're wildly underwhelmed. There you go. Try some of that iced tea. It's minty fresh. So you had seen. I think we talked about who you saw on the show, but you got a little glimpse of it,
Yeah.
and the fact that this was going on the interwebs.
Yeah.
Do you get much of your entertainment from the interwebs?
I've been into podcasting recently.
Who are some of your favorites? Because there's some good ones out there.
Yeah, I was just talking to Levine about the Tobolowsky Files. I'm a big fan of that one.
I got to check that one out because he's coming here June 5th.
Yeah, it's a really good one. He's got a bizarre memory like our Levine, and he
Steel Trap, one of them deals.
yeah, it remembers every detail from his life and is able to explicate them readily. And I like Corolla Show,
Yeah.
and which you've been on, right?
Uh-huh.
And
Sure. Nerdist. Have you tried the Chris Hardwick?
I like the Nerdist.
It's one of my favorites.
What else? Greg Fitzsimmons on occasion. But yeah, about that, and then Fresh Air and This American Life.
What about the Hulu or the other forms of? You got HBO Go. There's now so many opportunities.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that. HBO Go.
HBO Go for the iPad. They just launched it, and I gotta be honest. I used it over the weekend, stuck in the hotel, and it was pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, pretty good.
Remember, they put that HBO on the motel sign. That was.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have air conditioning and
And
HBO.
HBO, yeah.
And you thought, holy crap!
Wow.
Why aren't we staying there?
Wow.
Yeah, Jamie wants one of those signs for our house.
Oh.
She wants to put that
Odd.
sign out in front of the house.
Odd.
Air conditioning and HBO.
Not outside the house. I thought it would be cute to put it like in the TV room. It's kitschy.
Yeah, no, it's
That'll
way.
go with my Felix the Cat clock
It
with
is
its eyes
way
that
kitschy.
move.
And accurate.
And let's be honest, accurate. So you're watching a little bit of the entertainment stuff on the interwebs.
A little bit, and I've recently got the Netflix online.
Yeah.
I'm late, but that's invaluable.
The instant streaming thing.
Yeah.
They're changing the way the world works.
Yeah.
Over at Netflix.
Why isn't everything on there? Is it a legal issue? Why isn't everything on Netflix? Because there's a lot of stuff that's
At some point,
DVD
it's a
only.
licensing
It is
deal.
a licensing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a legal thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
In fact, I meant to mention in the opening, but maybe I should wait till it's official. Plus, the opening was 47 minutes long. But we've been contacted by Hulu and Sirius Radio to license this very show.
Terrific! Congratulations.
Big announcement, and I
you.
completely,
Wow. That's
completely buried it.
You buried the lead
Deals
as
are
deeply
being
as you could bury it.
deals are attorneys are talking. Is what I've been.
How
told.
does me being Asian affect your deal status?
Wait. We know you're Korean. It's not North Korean, is it? Son of a bitch.
By the way, that's why I realized over the weekend I do want Donald Trump to get elected, so that we can have our Kim Jong Un.
Yeah.
Why can't we get a
Yeah,
crazy
that's
fucker,
right.
right?
Yeah.
How great would that be?
Yeah.
And by the way, he's just so ridiculous. Now, hey, look, forced him to show his birth certificate.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, but he might have killed a kid too. I don't know. I heard somewhere.
He does have a uniform as well.
So,
Yeah, he never
beautiful.
changes.
Epaulets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you were born in the Korea.
In the Korea, as I call
in
it.
the Seoul.
Yeah. And my father is North Korean.
Oh shit.
No, he was born in what is now North Korea years ago, and came down when the war started. Was a refugee who went traveled on foot with his family to the south. So that actually, I guess I am officially North Korean.
I don't know that I've ever heard of that experience. Did he share much of it with you in terms of that move? 'Cause must have been scary as all get out.
Yeah, I mean, actually, this is goofy, but every time something kind of, for lack of a better word, I'll call it glamorous happens, I always, particularly on the way to premieres
Right.
in the car, always think about my dad because he almost starved to death on that walk. He and his whole family, and they tried doing things like eating bark out of desperation, and the whole family almost died. This is kind of funny and
So far, hilarious.
mostly tragic. They tried to make a stew out of mushrooms, and they were hallucinogenic. They all tripped out. They went into a coma for days, except my youngest uncle, who didn't like mushrooms, who was young enough to be finicky while starving, and
Wow.
yeah, and didn't eat it. He was a child, must have been 5 or 4 or something, and then went to go for help, and that's the only reason they lived. But anyway, I always think about that particular incident.
On the way to a premiere.
On the way to a
Because
premiere.
you want a trip, or
It always seems so preposterous to me.
Yeah.
That
you're on your way to some ridiculous glitzy show business
Yeah, and
thing.
it always it's not like a routine. It just occurs to me how ridiculous it is.
Perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was born in North Korea and walked down he.
What, by way of Haight-Ashbury, and then ended up
Yeah.
In
In South Korea, in Seoul, the capital of South Korea.
Right.
And which
which
is
is
where I
where
was
you were
yeah.
born. Yeah. And only 6 years there. What sort of memories do you have before moving to the States?
Warm memories. It was I we lived with my mother's parents, split level house, and my Korean's good enough to kind of tap into if I'm around it enough.
Right.
But yeah, I just remember family. We were kind of street urchins. It was a time when you could let
Kids play in the street.
kids go out on the street,
Yeah.
and we would just kind of roam the streets. We had an outhouse for a bathroom, sort of, that the neighbors shared. We were told if you didn't study in school, you would become the shit man, which is a guy that would come around with in a truck with a giant hose, and he would literally suck up the shit out of the outhouse.
I can't think of a better incentive.
It was pretty
You
pretty
want
effective.
to avoid being shit man.
Avoid being the shit man.
Was this from an older sibling, or was this from a parent who actually?
Parent, yeah.
One of your parents said, "You better study,
Yeah.
or you could become."
The shit man.
Who, by the way, is now. Did we ever hear what happened with the shit man? He went on to become.
It's actually Chris Angel. Chris Angel was a former shipman.
And so,
It's gone.
and any interest in sports or what were the sports as a kid there?
I don't remember. I was so young.
Because I'm wondering when you first came to the States, where everything's about sports for kids. Were
Yeah,
you
I
thrown
remember
into stuff
being-
that made any sense, or?
I remember we moved to Houston, Texas, and football was the thing. And,
Yeah, a little bit.
It took some getting used to. I tried enthusiastically to follow it, but it's really complicated. I still think it's the most complicated popular sport there is. You have to know so much to understand, to enjoy it. But
Right.
But yeah, I think I was too young to have played any sports.
Right.
And too nerdish.
And
maybe.
so then we got to the States, you had a lack of interest for a couple of reasons.
Yeah, I grew up. By the time I moved to LA, I started liking basketball. I think maybe because of it's a really telegenic sport, don't you think?
Yeah.
All the faces, that and baseball.
Right.
You can see faces, but no, never really. And I
connect.
wasn't good at it.
Right.
Yeah, it was awkward.
But you said you were a nerdy kid.
I
Because I'm wondering what sort of nerdy things are available in the early 80s. I guess you had.
I guess I was when I was a kid. I liked to draw a lot and read a lot, and that's how I passed my time. And we moved around a lot. And so, well, I guess I'm thinking back to Korea. I don't remember. That's such a funny question. I've never got it. I just don't remember playing any sports. I just remember running around.
You're blocking.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I do. Wow. I think you were ultimately the shit man. And I think it's time you just let that go. Because that's a great title of a book, if I may. Just float that. Okay. When it comes time to write your memoir, I avoided being the shit man. It is a hell of a title.
Not by Chris Angel. No.
Chris Angel, suck it. All right, so you go through school and you end up in. You were raised in actual Koreatown portion of Los Angeles. For
No,
a
it
while?
was. We
I
moved.
saw schooling in Glendale,
Yeah, we moved from
Houston.
Korea to Houston, and went. Did my elementary school years there, and then we kind of wandered through my junior high years and went to, let's see, Seattle, or a little town outside of Seattle, Daly City,
Bellevue?
Bellevue,
The city outside of Seattle. Might have been-
Everett,
Everett.
Okay.
Everett.
Kent would have also been a good guess.
Kent would have been a good guess.
Where else? San Mateo.
Love San Mateo.
Yeah, and then Monterey Park, then to LA. We moved around a lot.
And so as a child, because I didn't experience that at all, and none of my friends did, that constantly moving around thing. Does that sort of become a comforting thing to be able to move, or is it just always bad and rotten?
I think it's...
Because our lives are such gypsies as performers and actors.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually thought about that
recently is it does seem to me to be returning to the side of the trauma.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't even like the idea of signing up for a television show because it seems too much of a commitment. You know,
5 or 6 years.
which is ridiculous. You know, to sign
actually-
up for a 5-year job or a 7-year job.
Yeah, why would you want stability? As an
Yeah.
actor?
And,
Horrible idea.
It's so bizarre, but I guess you know, I think I hated moving around, and now I think I'm not comfortable unless I am moving around
Right.
and constantly being the new kid in school, as it were, and dealing with that. So
Yeah.
this is,
So you settle into Glendale, and you end up much. I love that almost every interview I went through, they said, "So you went to school with Ava Mendez?" No, she was a couple years behind me. I didn't know her.
yeah.
I thought, wow, that was riveting.
And the kid from Dylan Cussman is his name, from Dead Poets Society.
Oh yeah.
He was a year ahead of me, so he was a big movie star when I was going to school there. Wow, this is riveting.
Well, when you get to Berkeley, is that your first sense of any sort of theater? Did you? Because it seems like there was some sort of discovery there, where, hey, this outfit it'll fit you. You know that story that
Yeah.
you've now
Oh, yeah,
shared
yeah.
several times. But was there any sense at all, any connection? Because for me, there was always some sort of connection with somebody in a movie that I liked. It wasn't the actor; it was actually the character, and I would sort of walk around as that character for a couple of days, which was really cute for about 6 hours, and then really obnoxious for the next couple of days. But I'm wondering if there was any connection at all.
Well, as you ask it, I guess I can think, well, I guess that must have been 92 or something. Movies were starting to get really, the movie business seemed to be changing at the time. And
Early '90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so maybe that seemed more exciting. It maybe, you know, in high school it was action movies seemed to rule the day, and the business seemed to be changing. But no, it really was a connection, I think, to writing. I think. I mean, I was reading books. And
I mean, in high school, did you have visions outside of show business in terms of clearly outside of show business, in terms of what your future might be?
I really didn't. I sort of was unprepared. I went to college, went to junior college, then went to Berkeley, and then was figuring out a way to keep reading and keep, and it was a way to just not choose any path whatsoever. But I thought I'd probably do more schooling, and hadn't thought of show business at all.
Right.
But as I think about it, the relationship, I think, is it was a group solitary project. That is, because I love rehearsals, and I think that's why I dug it, because we went into a black room and we tinker with a scene, and I think...
Discovery.
Yeah, and discovering... Camaraderie, particularly, and that plus just I think it was the same for me as sketching when I was a child,
right.
or holding up with a book.
Now
in
there's
bed.
a small group of people doing it.
That's right.
Like-minded.
Yeah, I don't particularly like the stage part of it.
The actual doing of it.
Yeah, and I like going take after take and trying to squeeze one more thing out of a scene, but
Right.
the
Experimenting, discovery.
I never wanted to go out there and sing and dance and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think you have an announcement here today, which is that you're joining Glee next season,
I will.
which is awfully exciting.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Great.
I'm really excited.
Seems sarcastic, Sam.
Yeah. So now, I found it interesting that when you finish with Berkeley and come back to Los Angeles and decide possibly to pursue a career in the business, that your day job while you're auditioning is teaching English lit. Well, you're
Yeah.
English lit major, and then you taught English for 7th and 10th graders.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think I saw an ad somewhere, and honestly, I'm pretty sure it was $30 a class, I thought, that's good money, which actually wasn't. There's so much more work. It was
Tremendous amount of
a
work.
tremendous amount of work, and it was a real mistake.
Well, this
to
is the
take
late
that job.
1960s. I mean, $30 a class is a lot of. You're very old.
Yes.
Is what I'm trying to get.
You had
at.
to create a curriculum, for fuck's sake. What were you
Yeah.
thinking?
John Cho is 66 years old. He looks amazing.
Well, that's good, Jack.
Yeah, so I did that. That was a real mistake. I was doing plays at the time at night. That whole year, I believe, I was doing one show after another, and you know, you finish at 10, and you can't go to sleep for hours. And I had to, I think, be there at 7:30 or something.
Probably.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah. Was this when you
rough.
found the East West Theater?
Yeah, I mean, East West Theater is an Asian American theater in downtown LA that I knew people. I knew a lot of people who went through there, and so when I came to LA, I kind of landed there and started doing a bunch of plays there.
But again, it was the tinkering and the rehearsal and the discovery part that you enjoyed more than.
That's what I liked. Maybe that's a story I'm making up. I mean, but
Well, some people get that feeling on stage, like a revelation of this is where I belong, and some people remain kind of uncomfortable, but make it work because they have to do it anyways.
I think I'm in that
Yeah.
camp.
I don't think you're alone. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I feel like relaxing is the hardest thing about acting, and the
By the
stage.
way, it's the only thing I can do.
Really?
Yeah, that's literally my talent. You just hit it. Is that I can relax in front of the camera.
It's unbelievable.
But it's it, though. I can't cry on cue. I can't do anything. That calls for actual technique. But I can be the most relaxed.
Was that always the case?
Yes. I mean,
You
that's
never-
in sports terms, I would be called a natural because I didn't really have any training, but it was just, and from being a stand-up forever, you know, you build up an armor to go on stage as one.
Right.
So then the idea of being comfortable in front of an audience or in front of a camera was like, are you kidding?
That's like clutch shooting, right? I mean, really, that's
Yeah.
the ability to treat it like it's the first quarter and not
Right.
the last seconds of the fourth. And so your averages, even if you're just shooting 45%
Yeah.
in the last few seconds, that's clutch.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's unbelievable. I find that to be, it's just startling.
It's the hardest thing for you is to just relax. It makes sense.
I think it's the only real impediment to acting. I feel like every other thing you could do it if you were relaxed. And stage, it's just an impossible place to do the task that we're called to do.
Right.
Is pretend to be somebody else while a whole bunch of people watch. Seems nuts.
Well, it's why Sam will not go to a play.
That is absolutely right. Mostly musicals. Plays I can get into. Musicals I can't.
Because it's an immediate falsehood.
Right.
Let's suspend disbelief here.
Yeah.
As opposed to being in a dark theater
Right.
and watching a screen.
Right.
Let's gather together as a live audience, which, you know, in terms of the performing arts, this is how it all began.
Yeah,
back
yeah.
with the Greeks.
Yeah. Greeks?
Yeah, but they were uncomfortable. That's my version of my head. In my version of my head, the Greeks started it all. They started everything. I don't know if you got the memo. Yeah. All right, let's talk a little bit, if we may, sir, about you're doing the East West Theater, you're doing plays, and your first film role, according to the dossier anyways, was Wag the Dog.
Yeah, right.
With a director who was my first real acting role also, was for Barry Levinson. And I found him to be perfect for me because I did not know what I was doing, and he hates to see acting. Hates to, the actors acting is one of the most annoying things in the world to Barry. And in fact, in the case of when I worked with him, I was surrounded by brilliant stage actors who all wanted to rehearse, and he said, oh no rehearsing. No, you just sit around there and you're having turkey and everything's fine. He didn't want anyone to prepare or... So, what was your experience like on Wag the Dog?
I'm not sure that I was introduced to Barry.
I see.
I'll take your word for it that he did the movie.
You had less to do. Forgive me for assuming
Well, I wasn't an extra, but I was. Basically, the casting director knew me and said she had a good story. She said, Dustin Hoffman and Robert De Niro are in the movie, and the director's afraid that they might want to improvise. So instead of extras, they want people who are actual actors, and so I got cast. But the reality of it, in practice, I was an extra. But it was still really exciting. I didn't really know anything about the movie because she just brought me in because I knew her, and I remember this is the first time I'd gotten a script in the mail for an actual movie
But you had been auditioning for other things at that point.
Yeah.
So you'd seen sides.
I'd seen sides, but I hadn't received here you go, you're a part of the movie now, you're CC'd, here's the script, and didn't realize that David Mamet wrote the thing, and then I got there, and
were you like a sponge? Were you just curious as hell?
I was watching a lot. It was really interesting. I remember the most memorable thing is watching De Niro walk onto a set.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of noise. There was a lot of hustle and bustle, as you know, hammering, talking, joking.
And then it is amazing. You can literally hear sphincters tightening.
It was so unbelievable. I've never seen a person do that to a room or a stage, So that was unbelievable. And then I remember the contrasting styles between him and Hoffman. And as I look back on it, I thought it was an odd pairing, but really worked because Hoffman is he's very loose. He's very flirty on set. He's jokey, and he's, he just hangs out and gets comfortable and then does his stuff, or that's what it appeared to me to be like. And he was exactly the opposite. Oh, and De Niro, I remember, kicked me out of the scene, essentially.
But you've forgiven him since.
I have. We had dinner, and I formally forgave him.
Did you bring this up?
No, we didn't have dinner, and I did not bring it up.
Oh, you brought it up, and you did not have dinner. Slightly better story, by the way. That's a little writer's embellishment there. Wow.
But no, the AD set us all up. We were supposed to be these White House aides in the war room, and so the AD sort of sets us up with tasks, and then De Niro comes in, and as I mentioned, the whole place falls quiet, and he's speaking in hushed tones with Barry, who I was not introduced to.
You could look at him, but don't talk to him.
and I heard him say, "Who are these people?"
Yeah.
And they're aides. And De Niro goes, and De Niro laughs. He looks at us and laughs.
Like they don't look like aides?
They're one of those. Yeah. And then turns back to Barry.
Whispers a little.
Okay. De Niro goes away. We all get back to work, and the AD comes over and says, "We're not going to need you in this show."
You or all of you?
All of us. All 3 or 4 of us. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was crushing. It was the first day.
Oh, it was the first day.
Yeah, it was the first day.
So you may never forgive him, is really what you're saying.
I may not. Bad news for him.
Yeah. Yeah, good luck. Whatever happened to him, by the way?
Maybe you needed to grease him a little bit. I think a 50 might have done the job.
50?
Yeah!
50? Is that the going rate?
That's the going rate to be background in a scene, isn't it?
Is it?
I am assuming. I've had it all.
Yeah, that was a very wild experience just to watch.
How long were you on that?
Must have been a couple weeks total.
That's a lot, though.
Yeah, for a first job, it's a lot.
And to be around a big time.
And it was sort of a relief not to have any lines. I think
no responsibility.
Yeah, no responsibility. Just
you just got to observe.
Just hang out and looking.
And
really handsome.
Was something going through you? Was there a connection to I want to be the guy talking in front of the camera ASAP, or I have more to learn?
I don't think so. I always felt like I didn't know anything about acting. As I said, I fell into it in college, and I quickly learned I knew nothing about how people did it, and in a way, I feel like that was kind of a mistake. I felt like that froze me up because You know, when I was younger and first started, I felt like I was connected to an impulse. I was able to be in the moment a little easier and to be natural. And I felt like the first few years when I kind of decided it was going to be a profession, or I was going to try it as a profession, I got into my head a lot and was trying to educate myself and kind of complicated it a little bit.
Through reading?
Through reading and asking and trying what other people did, to prepare and
what was the auditioning process like in those days for you in terms of how often were you going out? How the hell did you even get an agent?
Somebody hooked me up with an agent, and it was mostly...
they came and saw you at the theater, maybe? At the East West?
No, somebody, or an actor I knew set me up with a meeting with their agent.
Right.
And that was the first one, and then there were things called casting director workshops back then, and I think that's how I got my agent after that. But in the beginning, it was kind of Asian stuff, like I used to say, like, I didn't know, I literally wasn't aware that there was a thing called pilot season.
Right.
Because, I wouldn't go on regular roles, but there was, there was a little season for me, like sort of around Thanksgiving, where everyone did an episode, their Chinatown episode.
Very popular in November.
Yeah, well, they would, they would go into a brothel, or they would go. There was the tongs were whatever, and
opium den.
Yeah,
what are
that
all the
kind of thing.
stereotypes we can think of.
That's it.
That must have been.
But there was, that was like the busy season.
Created some sort of opportunities in terms of auditioning, but
yeah. Although I never did well at those either.
Auditions are horrible.
Auditions are terrible. Would you agree they're a completely separate skill set from acting? I feel like
I actually think they're designed to fail.
You'll go that far.
As a director,
yeah.
If I give you the part, if I offer you the part, I've now filled you with all the confidence that I need you to bring to the job. If you have to come in and don't have the job, you have none of that confidence that I actually need from you to be great in front of my camera. And now I'm actually asking you to be that great and confident without the job. In fact, you've come in begging for a job, haven't you?
Right.
It's horrible. It's absolutely ass-backwards horrible.
Do you know what helps, Go?
Please tell me.
If you grease the guy a little bit.
A little 50? He's not going to get off it.
No.
Does a $50 bill exist?
It costs, you know what? It cost me $600 to be in Inglourious Bastards. Okay?
Yeah, but you make twice that.
For every scene I was in, $50 goes to Brad Pitt. That's how I did it.
It's not a bad deal.
That's how I did it.
I believe Grant is on the 50. I only know that because it's a bad mojo for poker players. For some reason, we don't like $50 bills.
Oh, really?
I don't even know why. Do you know why, Sammy? Why we're so against the 50? Because it's not 100. That's why.
Yeah, it's not 100. It doesn't break easily. You can't break a 50 with 20s.
Why?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Not with just
I accept
20s.
that.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. I don't think we know why but we hate the 50.
We hate it.
Yeah,
They're awful.
I've seen poker
Bad
players.
luck.
I've seen poker players act like you're coming at them with a chicken's foot.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, get away from me with
because
that
it's
50.
bad luck or because it's inconvenient?
Because
bad luck.
Players don't like anything less than 100. Whenever I used to run a bank at a poker game, it was like they don't want 20s, they don't want 50s, they want 100s.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's like they don't want...
It's
Which
true.
I hate hundreds because they're hard to break. White people problems.
Aww.
I know a lot of poor white people.
Gambler.
Humble brag.
Gambler.
Hashtag.
Yeah.
That's an immigrant thing, right? Cash.
What do you mean?
I always
That's a
think
Jew
of.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I
It
always
was
think
an
of,
immigrant thing for me, but
I always think of my parents and all their friends. They're merchants, and they don't trust banks, and so it's. In fact, Koreans, I believe, were. My dad used to do this. Is walk around with one of those bank bags. You know those little.
asking for
Canvas
trouble.
bags.
Asking for trouble, and they were, and there were thieves who were focusing on Korean people.
Who walk around with bank bags?
Yeah, it's the equivalent of the Old West
Dollar sign. I'm looking for a bank. Yeah,
Well, the
that's
joke's
not
on
good.
them.
What
It's
is
filled with rice.
what's the alternative to the audition if you're looking for somebody new?
I was trying to figure this out with somebody recently. How would you run an audition?
I think we need to devise the method, which is, maybe it's a showcase. The way that Barry Levinson first became aware of me was to actually come to a comedy club, and he would see comics do their act where they're incredibly comfortable, and he thought, this guy has this sort of energy on stage, I need that. So there's plenty of, when you're in an acting class, showcase opportunities where you try to have agents come. And so I wonder if that wouldn't still be better, because you're at least seeing them in material of their choosing, anything that makes them more comfortable and confident.
I have the absolute answer to this. And
Please.
Quentin, this is not a joke. Quentin Tarantino was not the first person I had a meeting like this with, but he was certainly the most famous. The first meeting, any of the actors who wound up in the movie, and what's that?
Have you worked with Quentin?
No.
Oh, okay.
Barely got to meet him. This close.
Did you miss the Inglourious Basterds reference?
But his first meeting with all the actors who were in the movie was just a meet and greet.
Yeah, it's a conversation.
No reading of any kind.
Yeah.
It's just hey, I just want to talk to you for 5 minutes, to see the energy, because there's no pressure, am I going to memorize my lines? Does he expect me to be off book? Am I going to have the right motivation for the scene? You don't have to worry about any of that. It's just, hey, I just want to say hello.
Right.
Because in my opinion, casting is 90%, does this guy look the part? When he opens his mouth and speaks, can I imagine that that's the guy I was thinking of when I wrote it?
Yeah.
And so then after that first meeting, he picks the 5 guys he likes and says, here's the material, go home and learn it, come in next week, I'd love to see you read. Because that certainly gave me the confidence to know, well, shit, I made it past the hugest hurdle.
Yeah.
He narrowed me down out of 200 guys to 5.
And based on your own personality.
And based on what I brought to that room without reading anything. And
Right.
that definitely gave me the confidence to go and do it the next week. So I think that's the way to go.
Right. And but the question, of course, for unknowns, how the hell do you even get in that room to begin with? That's the hard part.
They shouldn't try.
Yeah.
Leave it to the professionals.
Right. Yeah. Do not come to show business.
I mean, and every intersection of the casting process seems to be an opportunity to fail more than an opportunity to succeed. You know what I'm saying? Like, even, because you see people fired after the first table read, and or even, after a pilot is shot.
Recasting.
And so it seems rough, and you see, the pretty girls, when on the network run through, they are gussied up, and
Right.
and that sort of thing. It's just. You're right. It's rough because it's not built. It's not a system built to encourage good performance.
Yeah, the opposite of what I need is what I'm going to get, unless you've been through hundreds of auditions. And I think that may be the best reason for the auditioning process, is to just make people stronger and have a tougher veneer about the process, and eventually get enough confidence to bring in the room.
Right.
Earn those stripes, maybe.
I wish there were some also continuity in the room itself.
Yeah.
I mean, if this seems like a silly thing to complain about, but if everyone just decided, you know what, we're going to sit over here and there will be a conference table or not a conference table, or we will stand or you will sit. There just seems to be a number of things that you have to kind of figure out on the fly once you enter the room.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they rarely want to accommodate any of the performers who come into the room. It's all about their own comfort.
Yeah.
Have you been on the other side of casting now? Have you been involved in the creation of a project where you had to cast others?
I have not been involved in the creation, although I've been asked to sit in or do chemistry reads or be cast, and it's very uncomfortable for me now. And also there's the brutality with which they talk about actors once they leave the room.
Yeah, you only have to see that once to realize what's really going on.
Yeah, and then...
But what I try to tell people when they ask is, the reason you can't take it personal if you don't get the thing, as Sam pointed out, the creator, the writer, the director knows exactly what they want. They assume everyone has talent, otherwise they didn't get in the room. So really, you've got to fall into a physical appearance from an energy that the character had that's just organic to what you're bringing in, or it isn't. It's not really your preparation. It's not whether you're off book. It's not all the things that an actor tortures themselves with.
Right.
You come in and you're the guy, or you're not. I mean, that's literally how I did get Avalon to work with Barry Levinson, because I had no formal training. And afterwards, even after I got hired, my then manager said, one of the other clients worked with this acting coach. Maybe you should get a copy of the script from Barry to see if you can get to the acting coach. Because I was concerned about doing a great job once I even got hired.
Wow.
And so I asked Barry, can I give this script to the acting coach? And Barry said, oh, no. No. I don't want some acting coach coming in here and screwing. You're the guy. That's it. You're the guy. Just be you. You're the guy. And thank God, because I didn't know what I was doing, that I was the guy, you know.
Was Barry Levinson an actor at one point in his life?
Yeah, he was a writer and actor. He started out as a stand-up comedian. He and Craig T. Nelson were a comedy team. That's one of my great trivia moments. Yeah. That's the good luck picturing that comedy team. Makes no sense to anyone. Never did.
Isn't he in the movie Question?
Yeah, he's also in High Anxiety. He plays the bellhop that comes in with the newspaper and stabs Mel Brooks in the shower. That's Barry Levinson. Here's your newspaper. Here's your newspaper. Yeah. So how far into the auditioning process does the American Pie thing? Because it seems like, according to the sort of workload as things sort of shake down, there's guest starring stuff that happens before that. Right. So you started to feel a little bit like, how was there a
This is wild.
what?
That you had to read through my IMDb profile.
No.
I feel so bad for him.
That's why.
No, he doesn't.
That's what J-Mac's
the
for.
detritus of my
No.
career.
That's what J-Mac does. J-Mac's great at going through the 70-page. Yeah. No, not at all. And by the way, I listen, because I've been through it, there's a sense of you got to go from there to here.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't have been more thrilled to be lead guest star on Who's the Boss. You have no idea what that meant to me, I assure you. Or 30-something guy in bookstore line was how my character was in the credits. Guy in bookstore line.
Just recently, we rewatched the pilot for that show. What an interesting,
30-something?
what an interesting show.
Yeah, for its time, it was.
Yeah.
What the hell is this? Everyone was confused and thought it was amazing.
It seems re-relevant again. This 30-something show. Although I guess it would have to be 40-something now.
Because it's the new 30?
Yeah. Well, I guess the adolescence is getting even longer.
Right.
It's reaching into the early 50s now. People are.
What are you saying?
What?
He wants to know why your voice is cracking.
But you were saying, I was doing guest stars and stuff, and I'm trying to remember. Oh, I remember how I got American Pie, which was a friend of mine that was an actress was working in a casting office, and they needed people who could sing to be in this choir in this movie she was casting called East Great Falls High. And
She thought of you because you love to sing on stage.
yes. And so she gave me a call, or rather she paged me.
Sure. That's how long
I
ago it
returned the
was.
page.
Oh, the 90s.
Were you working as an extra on the set of St. Elsewhere?
I was working on VIP, thank you very much, starring Pamela Anderson.
Sweet.
And I was the flower delivery man that day. And so she said, but I need you to come in today. I said, I'm working. I've got a job, babe.
Yeah. I'm a working actor.
I've got a gig.
Yeah. I have to say, I think these are for you.
Yes. She called me back later that day and said, you just got cast anyway. I go to the table read, the aforementioned danger zone, and they just, I had like, I don't know, one line or something, but they asked me to do a bunch of filler
Other
roles.
parts, yeah.
Yeah, and so I had fun with it because I didn't know better, and I didn't know that I could get fired.
Sure.
And
Look how easy you got the job.
Right.
You didn't even show up.
Right. So the directors took a liking to me, and we became friends. And so they offered me another role in the movie, and we worked together a few times after that.
Right.
Yeah.
And so all the responsibility now, years later, looking back as the inventor, or so it's claimed and put upon you with the whole MILF thing.
Yeah.
That's got to get just a little annoying. I mean, first of all, it's in the script. Second of all, no? It's not annoying?
It's not a name, Kevin. People shouted at me as though it's a name.
I know.
It's not a name.
Are you sure? Yeah, that's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I only had a penny. Hey, Weinberg, thank you. Over here. Holy shit.
Oh, it's so hard having success.
It is. It is.
Well, actually, it's the greatest thing ever until they know you from something that you'd rather not,
Right.
that not be the reference. It's always that. That's the way how they get you.
I guess it was the kind of, it is, it's profanity. I mean,
The
shouting,
MILF?
yeah, the MILF. I mean, his mom I'd like to fuck, and it just seemed after some time it. Although I will say, people, I couldn't believe the number of people that saw that movie. It's so insane, but.
The budget must have been tiny. The whole thing must have
Yeah,
been.
it wasn't a big thing, and who knew? As a matter of fact, I wasn't here for its release, so I was sort of, I didn't realize it was a phenomenon, and I was in China shooting this, what I thought was an important movie.
Only to find out.
Yeah, only to find out that movie was buried, never really came out. It was it starred Willem Dafoe, so I thought, and I got to work with him. That was exciting, and and I thought this is my ticket. And I came back, and
You're MILF dude.
yeah, just was shouted that for years. Just was slapped on the back
Right.
for that. So it was ironic.
Hayden and John, these are the guys you became friends with?
No, it was the Weitz brothers. Chris and Paul Weitz
the White
directed
Brothers, that's
American
right.
Pie.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's
yeah.
right. Because you later became friendly, I guess, with John and Hayden.
John and Hayden, who are they directed or they wrote the Harold and Kumar movies, and
Right.
are now writing and directing the fourth American Pie movie.
That's what the connection was.
Yes.
But there's something about them seeing you, and what I found interesting was that American Pie sort of stamped you as a comedy guy, which you weren't necessarily angling towards, or even.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I don't have a comedian motor. It's
Right.
funny to be. I met you at UCB, and it's so wild to hang out in that green room because those guys.
There's a motor. It's a good way
They've
to
got a
put
thing
it.
going, and they're looking for bits all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't. My brain doesn't work that way. I'm funny enough at a party with a couple of drinks, and
Yeah.
my friends call me a funny guy. But it's a different thing.
Yeah.
It's
There's
I don't know
riffing,
quite-
and then there's
yeah. And you get into a writer's room when you're doing a show or something, and they they get in that semicircle. I did a sitcom early on, and you get the writers on shoot day would try and pitch alternative lines, and
Beat the
they get in
joke.
that semicircle, and
Yeah.
I distinctly remember being freaked out by that circle
Yeah.
because they were just.
That's a motor. It's interesting. I never heard that word used. It's wildly appropriate.
They just need. And the other thing, I guess, is to go through life and every single thing is an opportunity for a joke.
Yes.
To a comedian.
Yes.
And I guess that's the difference between, I guess, a moderately funny guy and a comedian,
Right.
is that I don't look at every single thing as an opportunity to be funny.
By the way.
Did that sound insulting?
Well, no, but it's not a healthy
What an
thing.
asshole.
It's not a healthy thing that everything needs to be funny. But to the comedian, that's the only way. It's an instant coping mechanism, but it goes way beyond that.
It is kind of. I guess it's kind of awe-inspiring in a weird way, though. It is. It's like it's like watching a guy jump really high or something. It is. It's something that it's a feat that you're not capable of. So.
Well, it can go three ways, I think. It can be inspiring, it can be intimidating, and it can be obnoxious.
All right.
Those are the three
I
things.
guess I have seen all those.
Yeah, that's the trifecta of the funny
yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
So when the comedy stamp happens, though,
Mm-hmm.
Are you thinking, I'm going to go with this because there seems to be opportunity coming? I mean, am I wrong in my memory of reading that when John and Hayden were casting Harold and Kumar, one of the reasons they thought of you
Yeah, I mean, the story that I've been told is that they had written. Well, no, they'd wanted to write a story about their buddy, Harold Lee, who they were friends with, and the Kumar character was a composite, but Harold is a person. And they were big fans of the movie American Pie. When they saw it, they saw me and said, maybe we can write this script because there's a guy
Who can do funny?
who can do this.
Right.
And so there's an Asian guy out there.
But how about that, by the way, that now screenwriters, right?
Right,
See
yeah.
arguably a cameo part,
Yeah.
right?
Not even a cameo.
Okay. I was being respectful and thinking, that's the guy that's going to be the lead in our movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
bizarre.
a buddy, that's
Bizarre.
impressive.
I remember being I met John, and he had a screening somewhere, and he had heard that I was going to be there, and so he brought his script. And he said, written this thing with you in mind, wondering if you could take a read. I remember being deeply suspicious. 'Cause
Well, there's the old, I'm not going to belong to any club that would have me as a member.
Yeah.
There's that problem. If you want me to be your lead, obviously you want no one to see your movie.
This is kind of racist. I just had never had a white guy write anything for me, and
It's not racist.
And I just felt that this couldn't possibly be good. It seemed so ill-advised to write anything for an Asian guy, if you're white. So
Well, there's so many to hang a film on.
yeah. Now there seem to be actually a couple of guys, though.
Well, part of
Yeah.
that's your fault, Mr. Hunter. I had a question about your co-star, Cal Penn. He joined the Obama administration shortly after Obama's election. Did Cal, in fact, infiltrate bin Laden's camp as well as being deep undercover for a long time?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure that was clear. Holy shit, what do you make of that? Do you guys talk
So
a bunch about it?
I talked to him a few days ago. He told me something. Oh God,
That you probably shouldn't
I probably shouldn't say
share?
now.
Nice setup.
Fuck, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I started going with it.
But you've talked to him since the last couple of years, since he's been a part of the administration.
yeah,
He was
I
brought
think-
in almost immediately.
Yeah, he was a surrogate for a long time, and although I think I can say this, I think my impression of his time there is that I think he was surprised at how hard it is to get things done in Washington.
I think they're all surprised.
Yeah. That seems to be what Obama's been saying too. That governing was a bit of a bramble bush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only the guys who trip over the lucky stick. They're like, just happy to be here. This is just,
Yeah.
Bush.
Kevin, I think you have something in your throat.
I did.
Might wanna
I got it.
just cough that
I
out.
think it was a little Jack Daniels. Very well.
Is somebody making the movie of SEAL Team 6? Because
Well, I
That
just
seems-
I
that's
just
the
saw
best
something
story.
about there's a TV pilot that was yes, honey.
I read in the Bible, Entertainment Weekly,
Yeah.
that the woman that did the
Hurt Locker?
Hurt Locker, yes, thank
Catherine
you.
Bigelow.
Yes, she was making a movie about it.
She was.
Oh, really?
She was.
She was, and then it happened, and now they're rewriting the
Yes,
movie because it
yes.
was like, we don't know where he is, was
Yes.
the original script.
Oh wow.
There
So,
were
yeah.
two major
So
movies in
Catherine Bigelow,
production.
so it should be good.
Yeah, we love
Get
her.
out.
Yeah.
Academy Award winner. Love her bunches.
Strange thing. The producer of the Harold and Kumar movies, his name is Greg Shapiro. He was the producer of the Hurt Locker, and it was very bizarre to watch our guy
From Harold and Kumar.
win the Academy. I mean, he went
Stand
up there
on stage.
Yeah,
For
and
Best
accept-
Picture.
For Best Picture, and I don't know how seriously they took it. We said for the advertising campaign for Harold and Kumar 3, it has to be from the Academy Award winning producer of the Hurt Locker comes Harold and Kumar 3.
That's hilarious.
That's hilarious, right? That's
Yeah,
legitimately funny, right?
Yes, very
That's
funny.
a legitimately funny ad campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, and true. But Hurt Locker, great movie.
Speaking of which, good ways to run an ad campaign, and then annoying ways.
Go.
Yeah. From the Asian guy from American
Yeah,
Pie
wow.
and the how did they
And the
describe-
Indian guy from Van Wilder.
right.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
I can't fathom. And you had an interesting take on it from one of the interviews, you were saying to your agent, look, you know, if you're asking me if I'm okay with this, the answer is no, I'm not okay with it. In fact, it's really not cool at all. If you're asking me if this is going to stop me from doing my job to promote the film, stop, you know,
Right.
I'm a professional.
Yeah, I don't know. I had difficulty articulating why that bothered me exactly. But
Clearly you saw why they would think it's funny. And
Yeah.
why in terms of advertising a film to a mass market,
yeah.
the opportunity to be racist wouldn't cross anybody else's mind. It's only when you're personally affected that it actually...
I just didn't find it all that funny. I felt like...
You know, what's the old thing? You know, the Jews love to say, make fun of themselves. But if a studio said, we'd like to say from the Jew, from A Few Good Men, I would say,
Right.
why?
Yeah, right.
Why would you? Because it's funny.
Yeah.
Is it? So believe me, I got it when
There was the argument that it was in keeping with the tenor of the movie, but
well, that is the argument.
yeah,
Sure.
I mean,
I suppose that's true.
It's a legitimate argument. They're trying to be outrageous and outlandish.
Yeah.
And it's inappropriate, right?
Yeah.
It's a trend that has continued, by the way. The Beaver, their tagline was "From the Nazi sympathizer who brought you Braveheart." So
And look how well that's doing.
look how well that's doing
Sammy,
for them.
111 shows, you hit one out of the park. Way out of here.
Come on.
Way out of here.
this is the motor. This is the motor.
There's the motor.
Guys,
There's the
it's
motor
just-
at work.
They write themselves.
From the Nazi
They write
sympathizer that brought you Braveheart.
How old are you? Your skin is so creamy.
Oh,
It's
you're so
unbelievable.
sweet.
I forget.
51
Are
years
you still in your 20s?
old. Barely.
Barely?
Hanging
Okay.
in there.
They're both holding on, the two of them over there.
Oh my goodness, unbelievable.
Yeah. So, not thrilled about that, but certainly thrilled about the response. The film, Harold and Kumar, seemed to have this sort of growing groundswell over time,
Yeah.
as opposed to explosion of American pop.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like the thing that wouldn't go away, first of all. And people wouldn't stop talking about NPH and how playing that riff on himself was, many have said, brought his career back to the forefront.
Yeah.
He himself said it right here in your seat. Yep, still there. So, how give us, the inside perspective of the movie comes out, it does this, and then how long before a groundswell is actually charted?
I don't know. The box office was disappointing, and but I remember maybe half a year afterwards, just feeling like we didn't do much business at the box office. But it does seem like every single person I run into has seen the movie. It did seem incongruous, and that feeling just became more definitive as time went on, as the months went on, and
The pass around DVD and then the DVD sales.
Yeah.
Right.
So it became a bit of a DVD phenomenon, and I think it's because it's a weed movie. It seemed like something people were happier to do at home, after
Easier
a
to
bowl.
get stoned?
Easier to get stoned.
I see.
And the other thing about, I think we had, the other thing about the movie is that it has an underdog theme, which kind of, so our low performance at the box office actually kind of helped us. It was, people passed it around saying, this is a secret. This is, you haven't seen this. This movie's great. No one knows about this movie. You have to see it. And so, we got started that way as something that no one else knew about. Everyone else thought that they were the only ones who knew about the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
That's always good.
Yeah.
That discovery thing.
Yeah.
Turning people onto it.
Yeah.
They're telling me in the other room that Disney trademarked SEAL Team 6, the name.
No.
Yes.
But that's for a whole other thing. It's going to be a movie about very heroic sea otters and seals.
Did you see the Saturday Night Live last night?
I did.
have not
that
seen it
opening
yet.
sketch.
That opening sketch it was amazing. It was
The
one of the
Obama
best.
victory lap
Yes,
thing?
that was great. How he like became a stand-up and was like chain smoking.
Didn't
That
see
was
it.
great.
This
Not
is
yet.
great.
I'm sorry.
This is great.
was that
Us
last
talking about something that you haven't seen. Is it good?
But it's on the DVR, and I can't wait to see it. Yes,
one. It's like
It is-
fantastic.
It was one of the best. You know how the SNL openings are always political? This is one of the best ones I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
I think.
we should start talking about off-center.
Let's do
Put
it.
everyone else out.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I just said it was good. I didn't pull in the lane. I didn't tell you the whole.
Why do I do this
Fun.
to you? I do it because I love you.
I love you too.
What was the off-center problem?
Off Center was a sitcom that I did years ago, and no one saw it. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
That's
Well,
the problem.
No. I don't think,
Is that the problem?
I don't
you're
think it's a
referring
problem
to?
now.
No, is it, we could talk about it and no one else would know.
Were you on the?
No, but I watched it.
You watched it.
I watched it.
And why didn't it work, Sam?
I don't know. It was actually very funny.
Yeah?
Thank you, Sam.
No, I'm dead serious. It was actually a very funny show. It was I think it was the funniest multi-camera
On WB at 9:30.
at 9:30 on,
On Tuesday.
Tuesdays that they've ever had.
All right, Sam, you want in so bad it's time for Who Tweeted.
Oh my
It's time
God!
for Who Tweeted.
Roll the thing! Jesus!
You're going to love this. I know it seems like torture.
No. I really made my way through this.
I'm
We need to get
very
you some ice. We need to
impressed.
freshen that up for you.
I'm very impressed. Oh boy, this is Who Tweeted, and we are going to have a good one today.
You feel it?
I do feel it. I do feel it. Now, I prepped you ahead of time, but
Yeah.
allow me to remind you. You and Kevin are going to be playing Heads Up. I'm going to read a series of 8 tweets. And
Legitimate tweet.
Legitimate tweets. And after each tweet, you'll have a chance to buzz in. You buzz in by saying your own name.
Yeah.
Don't say
And
my
then,
name.
Okay.
And then I will point to you.
Good
whoever,
tip.
Whoever
Don't
buzzes in
say
first.
Kevin.
And you will have 3 seconds to say that you think who you think authored the tweet. And it's either Tyra, Paris, or Bieber.
Or Bieber.
Tyra, Paris, Bieber.
Okay? And
Each correct answer
each
is
correct
worth-
answer will give you 5 points.
Incorrect answer?
You're going to lose 3.
-3 for incorrect.
Okay.
That's right. We take points away. We're like Jeopardy. And if you owe points at the end of this game, wow, you don't want to owe points. Jamie will break your thumbs. We do not play for shits and giggles over here. We play for
Gambling?
$20 US.
Hello.
Hello.
Right? Stakes. Gotta have stakes.
This
All right.
is
3 of those make it
exciting.
50, right?
Yeah, right.
That if you turn it upside down, it kind of I guess
Nope.
not. All right. Are you ready to play? Do you know how to play the game?
I know how to play the game.
Tweet number 1. Just watch.
How do I play the game? Okay, so
One more
all
time.
right, go ahead.
Timing.
No,
I'm
go
gonna-
ahead. Go ahead.
Nice.
Just watched the movie Country Strong. Loved it so much. Such a great storyline and loved all the music. Anytime, guys. Anytime.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, right? Oh, there he goes.
That is a hard one.
I'm sorry, can I just, what is Country Strong?
That was the film starring Gwyneth Paltrow where she sang country music.
Okay.
Just watched the movie Country Strong. Loved it so much. Such a great storyline and loved all the music.
John.
3 seconds.
Tyra. It's got to be Tyra. Tyra?
I'm sorry, no.
No, okay.
No, that was a tough one. I usually don't start off that tough, and I'm sorry. That was Paris.
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 Paris Hilton.
It's such an odd thing for any of them to like.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
All right.
It's all right, though. It's all right. Here we go.
You're
Anybody's
way,
games.
way behind.
Tweet number 2. One of life's unexpected pleasures. The feel of warm, freshly laundered clothes on my hands as I fold them with my own hands. Yum.
Kevin. Tyra.
That's right. What the fuck is wrong with her? It's like she started writing that tweet, in the middle of it left to go have a cigarette and take a shit, and then came back and finished writing it without rereading the first half.
With my own hands is the douchiest thing I've ever...
Freshly laundered
I've
clothes
ever heard.
on my hands as I fold them with my own hands. Wow.
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 Wow. Nicely,
Somebody was having a cocktail.
nicely done.
Never tweet drunk. If I've said it once.
You've said it once. Tweet number 3. Yo, at DJ Chucky. I'm in love with Dirty Dutch music. Have fun in Cannes. See you soon.
John, that's gotta be Bieber.
I was going to say Paris.
You would think, but it's not. It's Paris.
Oh.
That's all right. You actually saved points there, in theory. In theory, you saved points by getting it wrong, because if you would have gotten it right, he'd have a 5-point lead on you. Now he just has an extra 3 points.
How? What?
You know, you are Asian. You're supposed to be good at math. There are rules we have to follow here.
And you're
at the
a
chat
Jew,
show.
and there's no one better at math.
Come on. It's all right. It's still anyone's game.
That was who again? That was Paris.
That was Paris.
Wow.
Shockingly enough.
I only thought Paris because of the use of can. And DJs, and that means booze and late nights.
Typically.
Okay.
Tweet number 4. Wow! This is who I do it for. The fans! You are all the greatest. Thanks for making me smile. Hashtag grateful.
You feel it, don't you? You're going to make me take it? I'll take it.
Go.
Kevin Bieber.
That is correct.
Oh, no.
You gotta trust your gut, buddy. I want to see you do well here.
Okay.
I don't want to see him win. I don't care for him very much.
He's the only person that has fans collected to see him, right?
Right. Technically speaking.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
It's all right.
All right.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm making an aggressive move. I'm making a play. I'm making a play. I'm making a play. I'm making a play.
You gotta
Second
put-
half.
making
We're
a
into the
play.
second half now. Tweet number 5.
Number
All right.
5?
Go.
They get worth more as the show goes on.
Getting ready to leave for Wango Tango.
Jesus Christ.
Who are you all excited to see perform?
I don't even know what that means.
Neither do I.
That's wow.
Neither did I when I read it.
Who are you excited
Kevin Paris.
That is correct.
Jesus.
What
That is correct. I don't know how he got that one.
That's a blind
That
guess.
was a shot in the dark. Let's be honest here.
Absolute blind guess.
That's
And now the questions are worth 10 points.
Yep. Here we go. 10 points because they're harder now, John. They get harder.
All right.
They get
all right.
harder, by the way.
Sorry, have
There's
a
good
sip.
luck.
Take a sip of that. Take a sip.
There's good luck.
Okay.
All
A
right.
little sip of courage.
We may need to freshen this up.
Tweet number 6.
Uh-huh.
2 things I'm kind of loving right now. The movie
not.
Thor
Yeah.
and the new Showtime show, the Borgia. What is it? Borgias? What?
Borgia.
Borgias. You?
The Borgias.
Borgias. 2
John.
things I'm kind.
Tyra.
That is correct.
Oh, 10 points!
That's my boy.
Bring him up! Bring him up! Plus
That's very
5! He's in
exciting.
the plus column.
He's in the plus column.
Nice.
Oh.
All right. All right. Now we're getting somewhere.
What question are we on?
This is
7?
tweet number 7.
All right, 2 questions left. Anyone's
Here we go.
game.
Anyone's game. Chill off day. Need to rest up. Damn chest infection.
John Bieber.
That was my.
That is correct.
Oh, he's crushing it.
Oh my God! It's a 1
right.
point game,
It's a
ladies and
1
gentlemen.
point game.
This couldn't be more exciting.
Here we go.
Really?
I think we were just slammed. Really? Couldn't be more exciting?
Couldn't be more exciting.
Okay.
Tweet number 8.
Let's see if Andy Jackson will dance for this one.
A little bit.
Yeah, look at him. He's happy.
at him go.
He's dancing. All right. He passed out from too much JD.
What an amazing letter. I love meeting my fans. They mean the world to me.
What an amazing letter. Read the whole thing one more time.
What an amazing letter.
John Bieber.
I'm sorry. No. I wanted it to be
I
right.
just wanted to.
I wanted it to be right.
Jeez. All right. Tell me who that was.
Paris.
Paris.
What an amazing letter.
Oh, letter.
That made me realize that could be all 3 of them. Once it's a letter.
No, everybody knows Tyra doesn't know how to read.
Oh.
All right. Well, that
It's how you play.
is how you play Who Tweeted.
Thank you, Sammy.
My pleasure.
Little
You know what,
tribal
buddy?
music, please.
I'm going to get him next time.
Thanks, bud. Jesus H.
Fresh
You don't have to drive anywhere.
as a daisy.
Really? I thought I drove here.
No, we got a guy.
We got a helicopter. You go home in a helicopter.
He's going to put his moped in your trunk.
What?
He's going to drive your car home,
I didn't.
and then he hops on the moped and comes back.
Well, weird.
There's a
What
real
an
service, by the way, that does
Okay.
that.
Here's a couple things. Beyond the MILF thing that we talked about,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to suggest that sex has played an interesting role in your career.
Okay, go.
Go with me.
All right.
Much has been written about the American Pie first coining the term MILF. 2006, you were voted by People magazine as one of that year's sexiest men alive.
Yeah.
And your turn as young Mr. Sulu was described by the New York Times film reviewer as having a genuine, easy charm with undertones of smoldering sex appeal.
Oh, I was not aware of that.
Made that up.
Oh.
Pretty sweet there for a moment. That was awesome for a moment, though, right?
It was.
I was thinking, what's the
really
most
good,
ridiculous
yeah.
thing the New York Times could say?
It is paper of record.
Yeah, I said the New York Post. Now we're talking smoldering. How annoying is it? Is there any part that for the People magazine, one of the 100 sexiest men alive that year, is there anything that goes yay, or just is it all just
I don't know. I mean, it's
just one of those
well, how
ridiculous.
can you take it?
Seriously?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
I mean, as
don't
the
know.
person, your
So
friends,
you go-
I'm sure had a little fun.
Yeah, but even as a career thing, it does seem to be an odd thing to put on the resume.
Was
I
there
mean-
anyone in your camp, you don't need to point fingers, who said, John, this is great?
Yeah, everyone said this is great. You know, so that's so when, you know, you do the photo shoot and you. What?
And then they rolled it right into which job?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know what kind of bearing that has. Although somebody was telling me recently that, you know, in terms of figuring out what your value is worldwide, that everything has a point value.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So like a People magazine could, you know, theoretically have a 2, and I was in the Green Hornet, and no.
Nope.
I wasn't in that. But
You should have gone further.
Being in
That must be fun for you, by the way.
Further with
What?
that.
Was
You
that?
should have gone longer with that.
Okay.
That must be fun for you.
Yeah, actually, that guy does look like me,
Little
or
bit.
I look like that guy.
There's a slight similarity,
Yeah.
and not just from a
and
Caucasian racist.
7
What
out
a
of 8
terrible
letters
thing
are
to
the
say.
same. Yeah.
What a terrible thing that you guys don't all look alike.
We do.
Just the two of you.
Just us.
And several million other guys.
Yeah.
What?
What?
No, that's not the thing.
So, but yeah, in terms of value around the world, sex appeal's got to be one of them.
But it is funny, though. I went to Korea for a film festival, and being in that, you know, I feel like the American media kind of takes it a little too seriously. You know, the People magazine's sexiest list or whatever, but they take it even more seriously, if you can believe it, overseas. That it's like it's been codified into law that you are forever sexy in the Constitution or something.
As said so by the American
Right.
magazine.
Right.
And then that has the power
Yeah.
as a born in a different country.
Maybe that was their take. You know, they were like,
You're from here, and America said you're one of
Yeah.
the sexiest men alive.
Yeah.
And, well, you know, that's fairly organic to sort of local boy makes good also.
Right. I guess that's the story.
Yeah.
Local boy makes good.
And it couldn't be more legitimate in their eyes, I suppose, than the big American media machine
Right.
stamping you.
The legitimacy. Sexy.
But well, there's a little bit of yes, but there's a little bit of weight that goes with the ground that you're actually. I mean, I'm not suggesting you have a machete in each hand, but the argument is easily made that you're making a difference for Asian American actors.
You know, I hope that's true.
Well, people
I
are writing about
fantasize
it.
that
That's
it's
what
true.
makes it true, is that they're writing
Right.
about it and they're insisting it to be true. So I can't imagine that carries any sort of weight as an artist when people, idiots like me, keep bringing it up. I guess that's probably the only times you think about it. Or do you? Well, when you go home for the film festival, was there a sense then?
You know, the only time I do think about it a lot, in the sense that you know, young Asian people come up to me and tell me things like that. So I think about it, and then, you know, early on when I was getting auditions, chop suey kind of auditions.
The flower delivery guy?
Yeah, well, you know, it was flower delivery guy, and then there was not so much, but there was Chinese delivery guy,
the Chinatown.
maybe the Chinatown
November.
episodes. Yeah, November.
Yeah.
You know, some of those when they came in on that sweet curly fax paper. One of the sides came through.
Wow, I do. Wow, you're aging yourself. But yeah, no.
But,
So
you know, you think about it.
You
You
referred to it as the chop suey rolls, which is just the stereotypical nonsense.
Yeah.
And so younger people. Well, there's the source of pride that you should take to heart. That you're making a difference in the eyes of the next generation. That's something to be proud of for sure.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it really, like John Hurwitz and Hayden Schlossberg, when they wrote Harold and Kumar, I feel like that was really maybe the greatest example of what could happen, which was that they thought, well, we can't do it because there's nobody there who could legitimately be the face of this story, and then because they thought that it was possible, went ahead and wrote the script, and so the script in the movie, as a result, existed
Because of your performance.
because of just me existing and being out there. So I guess there's some legitimacy to that, but yeah, you're right that it isn't something that's helpful.
Yeah, there's a sense of accomplishment along the way, and that's important, I
Yeah.
think, to counterbalance the awkwardness of the early years and the suffering of auditioning and all that
Yeah.
stuff. J.J. Abrams, let's talk a little bit about Superman. That's how I refer to him, as Superman, the Jewish superhero.
Yeah.
Able to lease tall buildings in a single call. Superman, J.J. Abrams, and even the trailer for the new one, you just get a sense of this is beyond the next Spielberg. He's already put his own stamp. He actually has a very specific point of view that is his own and wholly original.
Yeah.
So the dossier suggested that you get wind of the movie. You first heard it from a journalist. I have it on high authority that the movie that
That's right,
J.J.
yeah.
Abrams was doing a younger cast,
Yeah.
and that's how he was going to revamp the movie franchise.
Yeah.
And it was is that one of the few times you sort of said to your agents, "This is happening. You've got to get me in on this." Or,
I believe that's the only time. And I keep meaning to repeat that.
Be more proactive,
Be
or-
more proactive and maybe read the trades, but
or at least hire someone too.
yeah.
Dear God.
So I don't really do that. But that was the one time I heard about something before it was happening and said, "What's going on? Let's make this happen." And
What was your first encounter with JJ like in terms of?
I'd actually been directed by JJ once years before. I'd been on the first season of Felicity,
Aha.
and
He directed the episode?
yeah, it was. I think it was like the first season, maybe episode 5 or something, maybe earlier. And so I met him briefly and worked with him a little bit. And my memory of him then was that he was such a perfectionist. I remember in my throwaway scene, he went, maybe 25 times, just trying stuff and
Wow.
looking for different little hints of music in the scene, and it wasn't like we didn't have it.
Right. A sense of discovery, which you've said you love.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It tested my sense of discovery, as a matter of fact. I mean, going 25 times was
Nice.
I mean, where do you like to go? Where's your sweet spot in the
you
number of takes?
We're almost the opposite. After 3, I hear myself acting and I go crazy.
After 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do understand the sense of discovery and why that would be more interesting than just doing it the same way over and over again. Yeah. I don't want to hear myself or feel like I'm pretending.
Right.
And it actually feels kind of loose and real the first couple of times.
Yeah.
And then it just
Yeah.
feels repetitive.
I guess if you prep the right way, but
That's silly. I don't even know what you're talking about. Prep.
Have you read Rob Lowe's book?
No, the one that just came out. No.
Yeah, it's
Stories I only tell my friends or something.
this. He's led a very interesting life, but
Well, that
I'm very
we-
lucky. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the outsiders
Yeah.
experience is really interesting, and the kinds of hoops that Coppola made them go through is worth the read itself. Like he made them play a football game with greasers. He gave the Socs better hotel rooms.
Wow. Created.
Things like that. It was very strange.
Which
stuff
these
that-
kids were too young to even know what was happening.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nutty genius.
Nutty genius. Or genius?
So when you meet with JJ, is there a sense of, oh yeah, we worked on the...
A little bit.
Not
I mean,
much?
it'd been long, and he had, blossomed into, that was JJ.
Superman.
Yeah, he was Superman at this point.
And everyone's going after this part. I'm sure everyone's going after all the parts
Yeah.
that are available,
Yeah.
unless he's just offering them. I imagine Simon Pegg might have just been a straight offer,
Yeah.
But in your case, was there a lot of competition that you
There
heard
wasn't the
about?
proverbial room.
Right. That's nice.
With full of Asian guys, but I understand that they went through the town and even went abroad, and I know that some of the hang-up. I may be speaking out of turn here, but they were concerned that I was not Japanese and George Takei was, which is, legitimate. But they resolved that issue internally. I'm not really sure who or what made them change their minds, if they were leaning one way or the other. But that was
Chris Pine's not Canadian, is he? Just saying. I'm just saying it's kind of bullshit.
yeah.
I mean, is Sulu a typical Japanese
No, he's not.
name?
It's not a Japanese name at all, actually.
Well, and this is really bullshit.
yeah.
Also, are you gay?
Hey now.
Well,
He's
not
no-
as a negative.
Right.
As one actor is this, the other actor is
I am
this.
No.
tired of being asked that question.
Yeah, you must be. Listen, you suck one dick, make sure it's the right one. I've said that from the beginning. He's very, very open now later in life. Of course, the character of Sulu, I know you're joking, but the character of Sulu was A, not gay, and B, very almost theatrical in his enunciation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that stood out more than... I know there was a sense of action that you were excited about in this version.
Yeah.
That didn't... I mean, there was one great time where they all got shot in the face with spores, and Sulu was fencing and sword fighting that I'll never forget. That's when Kirk has to enrage Spock, otherwise he's the last one beamed off the ship, and they can't get back on the ship, and Kirk has to say to Spock, "You're a freak, Spock. A freak. You belong in a circus. Right next to the dog-faced boy." Yeah, he had to say that to piss off Spock. So, and then after you get the part, you actually go to lunch with George Takei, which I thought was pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
And the idea there was just give me some perspective, give me some insight, give me some anything you can. And he brings up the Roddenberry vision.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I talked to him about that, as a matter of fact, this particular issue, about me not being Japanese, and he told me that Roddenberry's vision was that the Sulu character was to represent all of Asia, because he wanted the world represented on the bridge of the Enterprise, and so...
and other worlds, but definitely all of our world, yeah.
And the Sulu Sea touches a bunch of Asian countries, and he said, well, that's the name I'm going to give him. And that he picked the name Hikaru because George was cast. And that's a Japanese name. So
so it was just Sulu when they were casting originally. That's interesting.
And then
so that was nice of him to sort of take the onus off of it for you.
George remains, I mean, who knows why? He's just been incredibly decent to me, and was so gracious through all this stuff. And if I'm not mistaken, I think JJ might have called George about the issue as well. And George is fantastic, and said it doesn't matter to him. So,
right,
yeah.
You get to kick some serious ass. It's physical. There's a whole training process involved. Was that a first for you as an actor?
Yeah, it was. My wife reminded me the other day that
You hadn't been working out in a while?
this is weird. I had forgotten this, that when they cast me, they said, he should have an athletic physique.
Wow, they put it like that?
Yeah. And so I started going to the gym, and then they set me up with the stuntman who were, there was an action sequence forthcoming. They didn't know exactly what it was going to be, and so oddly enough, I'd never taken martial arts growing up. I didn't know how to throw a kick or a punch, and so we were
Was that
starting from
fun
scratch.
to learn?
It was really great. It was enough. I don't really. I'm really happy when a methodology is given to me, because, like I say, I didn't go to acting school, and I don't know how to do it, really. I still don't know how to act, and so when something's given to me, I'm really grateful. And
Right.
so you go every day, and you learn how to wield a sword, and I just sort of felt like doing something regimented on a daily basis was really helpful to
It allows you to be
feel like
authentic.
yeah. And
Whatever that thing is, if it's an emotional
Right.
authenticity or a physical, it allows you to feel authentic, and then you don't feel like you're faking or posing.
it was the first time I'd gone from the physical.
Started with the physical.
Started with the physical, so that was the only time I'd done that, and so it was unique.
But it was a fun challenge, an exciting challenge.
It was fun, and what I didn't realize was, Zach Quinto and Chris Pine were also doing it, so the three of us.
You got to
I knew that was something that the three of us did.
Right.
All of us had in common, and so so that bonded us.
That allowed you guys to become friends.
Friends-ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was useful, as it turns out.
Right. And then the experience of a giant, humongous studio motion picture. There's something about being under the $100 million big top circus, or in this case, maybe twice that, but
Yeah.
there's something different about it
There's
in
a buzz.
every way, shape, and form. I remember for me it was, you go to the wardrobe fitting, and then there's 12 doubles to that outfit.
Right.
Really? Yeah, and Schwarzenegger has 64. Sorry?
What?
64? Well, we're going to, he's got a lot more stunts, so he gets 64.
64.
It's like, is he going to sign 40 of them and give them away to charity? You don't really need 64, do you? So, but everything is bigger. It's in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah, you feel that. Or I felt it.
Yeah.
Was I frightened about it? Although,
No, there's no way not to feel it.
Well, I was thinking about this recently, was that, I was saying that the hardest thing to do is relax. There is a certain, I think one of the ways that, a misguided maybe way that some actors deal with the relaxation problem is to become egomaniacs. Because the moment is so big, the consequences are so large that I think it's difficult to accept that or to function under those circumstances. And
Yeah.
I think one way you can function under those circumstances is to become an egomaniac, and
It also
you
helps
become more
mask-
important than the scene,
Right.
or with the project.
And mass insecurity.
Right.
That's the first tool.
Yeah.
Just, I'll be a movie star.
Right.
I'll act like what I think a movie star is supposed to act like.
Which I gotta say is not the worst plan, from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm. You mean in terms of confidence and how to wield?
Yeah, or wielding actual power. In some ways, I feel like the more you act like a movie star, the more people start treating you like one. I mean, that's what I've seen.
If in
Sean
fact,
Penn. Sean Penn?
yes, of course.
No, quite. I'm not kidding. Sean Penn has apparently always been kind of hard to deal with, like since he was Spicoli, and it's really worked out for him. Like people have always treated him like he's a little hard to deal with, but he's a great movie star. Like we like him. Like even though he leaves every set and people are like, oh God, what a fucking nightmare. I don't know if I can work with him again. They always do.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Because even though he's always been like that. I think, I don't know who's, I think Hanks, yet again we come back to him, someone asked him about being nice, and he said that becoming a celebrity, becoming a big shot movie star doesn't change who you are, it just amplifies who you were before. Is that right?
Unless you're super insecure and then you create this movie star persona that isn't yourself. But if it usually does, of course, amplify who you are. You better have your shit together before you get that big turn. Otherwise, your real demons are going to come out and it's not going to be pretty. We have questions from our live audience. This one came early, but it was about Star Trek, and I wanted to wait till we kind of got to the topic. This one from the Facebook. Apparently, that's still a thing. David Bramwell. I know that John is going to the Star Trek convention in Vegas in August.
Yeah, my first
and I
one.
believe that it will be his first convention appearance. Person's a stalker. Is he looking forward to it, and what is he expecting from it?
I'm trying it. I've been a little afraid to do it.
There's been several.
I feel like you should have done one.
I did way back.
Did you really?
Only because they had some big Shatner thing and
That's
they wanted me to
amazing.
come and perform. But there's been several conventions since the Star Trek movie came out. I don't mean annually, I mean all over the country. And you must have had myriad invitations.
Yeah, we'll see what it's like.
Although you
I'm
did
excited.
use the word trepidatious in one of the interviews, which sent me in search of whether that was an actual word or not.
Is it?
I am the worst, by the way. I use words that are completely made up all the time.
I meant trepalicious.
And it turns out you meant trepalicious, which is indeed a word. No, there was a great article written by a journalist saying this is absolutely a word, fuck you, it's a word, even though there is no physical evidence.
Really?
Because it all comes from either other forms of the word. That particular form, adding shush at the end of
Really?
it is not, yeah. But I brought it up because I found
stand
it.
here ashamed.
No, I brought it up actually because I'm awful at the words and the spelling
Can
and
we
pronounce.
talk about trepanation for a minute?
Please.
Are you familiar?
No.
Trepanation,
Is it near Spearmint Rhino?
It's medieval, and it's where you bore a hole right through the top of the skull there, and it relieves pressure around the brain, and it improves blood flow to the brain, and you'll feel lighter and think faster. So they say.
Better than...
I don't remember this segment during medieval times. I was eating my chicken with no utensils, getting a refill on my Pepsi,
From the bar wench.
and I don't remember this in medieval times. I was
Look it
waiting
up.
for the red knight. I didn't know.
Google it.
Always
Trepanation.
waiting for the red knight.
Trepanation.
One of the things I want to hear about the experience of the Star Trek, other than the giant production value and what that means to the process, is the world tour you then did for press. That's a
Yeah.
whole other experience. How many of you in the cast or the crew went on this world tour? Was
As
JJ a part of
actors,
that?
Yeah, the JJ and the
Main cast?
main
Simon?
cast and the writers, and I think there were people who came in and out, but
How many countries? Give us some examples.
boy, we went to a bunch of places in Europe and Japan and Korea.
Was there some royalty involved in any of these premieres?
Was there? I don't remember.
Oh, well, it seems like you would. Someone would force you to remember by just teaching you how to bow or whatever.
Yeah. I don't believe so. We went to Sydney and we went to New Zealand. You know what? The most memorable experience was actually going to Kuwait. Yeah.
I was going to say the special screening for the soldiers must have been pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was an experience. The physical experience of flying in a helicopter over the desert and going over mile after mile after mile of desert and really knowing physically now where our boys are at. That was, and arriving at that tiny enclave and spending time with them, and that was the most special day. One of the most special days of my life.
Yeah, would have to be.
Yeah.
And then they didn't like the film, and it got weird.
It was weird.
Yeah. Got kind of sad.
I had like 5 or 6 hits of E though, so it was. It seemed like a lot at the time, and
Military grade?
yeah.
Cool.
Military grade. You haven't tripped on E until you've had the military grade. I'd always heard that.
That's right.
Now it's nice to have it confirmed. So, Sam's friend Damon is off writing the sequel.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty good hands to be in terms of.
Have you heard anything about it?
I heard that they're actually going to make the Sulu part Jewish.
A little more Jewy?
A little more Jewish, a little shorter.
Sulu-ish?
Yeah. So watch your back, buddy. Watch your back.
Seems like an odd way to go with Sulu.
Yeah.
Sulawitz.
I gotta call George Takei.
I'm not
He's so
Japanese
angry.
and I'm not Jewish. Yeah. No, that's not what they meant by "Are you a Jew?" Not a Jewish American princess thing. No.
Jewish American Prince.
Yeah.
Doesn't that work too?
It should and could. This I also love a whole bunch. Well, first, I don't mean to brush past or allow you to brush past because it's such a rare, I'm going to say treat, to be able to fly around the world on a studio's dime and promote something that you're really, really excited about. Please tell me you had a little bit of fun.
We had, yeah, we did. I don't want to sound like an asshole. I mean, it was just really glamorous. I mean, we were just flying first class and going to all these cities and waving and flying private jets and drinking champers. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Champers.
I think no Di Serrano.
But it was the coolest I've ever felt flying around on that tour, and it also.
But it's okay. Don't think you have to apologize for these rare moments because again.
Yeah.
It's about the journey. It's about. Please give me a little ebb and flow. It can't.
Yeah, it was.
There should be celebration along the way when something is, first of all, huge production.
So many blowjobs.
Iconic role. Blowjobs aside, iconic role.
Yeah.
Incredible pressure.
Yeah.
And then the score of the box office and the reviews were pretty solid, as I remember.
Yeah.
I wasn't scrutinizing. I just remember, oh, good. Everyone seems to be liking this.
Yeah.
Because I was a Star Trek nerd as a kid.
Yeah.
Not convention-wise, but just, I didn't start doing Shatner because I thought he was just weird. I thought the whole show was amazing. So there was a sense of, and then JJ's magic, and then the whole thing is just such a rare opportunity, I think, for an actor.
You're right. I mean, I think it's a culmination of also the stress.
Yeah.
Of being attached, the responsibility that franchise carried, and to kind of do a victory lap, as it were, felt amazing and was very, very satisfying. Yeah, what can I say? It was fun to trot around the world and say.
Yeah, we did a good thing.
Yeah.
Simon Pegg, hilarious.
Simon Pegg is hilarious. Weirdly enough, Eric Bana, he was a stand-up.
I always find this freakish. A stand-up who also did impersonations, somebody told me. He did voices and characters, but really hilarious stand-up comedian, incredibly well-known in his motherland.
And he has that motor.
And he has the comedian's motor.
He has the motor, and so we were hanging out, and he's just, He's super handsome.
You don't expect that from Johnny Handsome.
Super handsome and dapper,
yeah.
and he was just up in your face with jokes as we were about to go on stage, making fun of impressions.
Almost comes off a little needy at times for such a handsome guy.
Maybe that's what it was, coupled with the face. It just seemed
right.
And also, if
this guy's so handsome, you assume he has two penises. You know what I mean? It's like that level of handsome.
Right.
Well, he must have two penises.
But it was all, he bordered on, he was pushing it.
Yeah. Stop.
Buddy, we got to go on.
Stop already.
I'm like, they just called my name. And he's in.
No, what do you think of this impression?
So that was really odd. But Simon Pegg is. I
don't know that he has a comedian's motor, but he's an organically funny guy.
Yes, I would say that. I don't see the motor in him necessarily.
A real sweet guy, too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm awfully excited to see more of that, and that they are working and have such great a writer. Damon's working with someone that he
Did
really
you come
likes
to the
too.
set ever?
No, but I'm gonna.
You are? Okay,
Yeah.
great, yeah.
I'm asking.
I'm gonna?
Yeah. That's my way of asking.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you that the most memorable day of shooting that movie is walking on the bridge. That first day was,
And JJ was really into having things practical, so just every knob did
something.
turned.
Yeah, I remember reading something we were saying, what is the language of the
Yeah,
instruments?
it was wild. That ship was a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
Holy cow. Are there actual schedules yet? No.
No.
Still waiting on the
Yeah.
script and everyone to sign off on it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But H&K, 3D.
Oh yeah, we did that.
Excuse me, there is a fourth.
Third
Third.
Harold and Kumar, which will come out this Christmas.
And it's 3D, is my
It's in
understanding?
3 dimensions.
That's very
Very
exciting.
silly. Very silly.
It's in theaters when?
No,
We saw it in theaters.
we saw the second movie.
Second
in
one,
theaters.
yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you, thank you.
Absolutely.
Do you have to thank everyone personally who
Yes,
saw it in
of course.
theaters?
Yes.
It would take a lot
I'm
of
just
time.
saying.
No, you're right.
Gracias.
When does the third one come out? Do we know?
This November, it's a Christmas themed movie.
Again with the
Yes,
November.
it's a Harold Kumar Christmas, very Harold Kumar
Right in the middle of
Christmas.
Chinatown season, everyone. Support Chinatown month. But
I'm excited. I like the movies.
You know you really do.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Can you tell us if NPH makes the third appearance?
He's in.
Oh,
yeah,
fantastic.
He's in. It was shot in 3D. Have you ever shot in 3D?
Hell no.
It's so weird.
What
It's so
was-
weird. It's, the rig, because there's 2 lenses.
Right.
Is so big. The matte box is so wide that on the overs.
Oh God, you have to stand behind the camera. On top of the
Exactly.
room. Yeah.
And so every over, we were looking at a piece of tape. So that was really difficult. And I sort of went crazy about it halfway through the thing. We try to do things like, right before the scene, look at each other in the eyes, go over the lines, and then look at the piece of tape. But that was really hard.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why the movie is awful.
I see.
Oh. Wait a
By the
minute.
way,
I don't think this is the way you want to go
for
about
anyone
promoting it.
who is wondering why the movie stinks, now you have a reason.
Now you know.
Forgive these questions. This is really my own personal taste. Is there a better flavor in life than kimchi?
Yes.
What?
Yes. I like kimchi. I did when I was young. In college, I believe I had some bad kimchi,
Uh-oh.
and that will
I don't know what that means.
That's
when it's
true.
over fermented.
That's true because my very best friend is Korean, and her mother. I would go over to. I've been friends with her since we were 12. I would go over her house every day, like after school, and her mother would make has jars of kimchi in the second fridge in the basement, and that's kimchi.
Right.
But if you get this jarred crap from anywhere else, it's horrible.
Over fermented.
Yeah, it's over
I think it can
fermented.
over
That's what they say.
ferment if you have it for too long, and I did. I barfed it. Then I didn't eat kimchi for years, and
Just coming back around.
just coming back around.
All right.
I'll bet you like barbecue, though. Like
Yes, I do.
Texas barbecue?
I thought you were going somewhere else, Sam.
Nope.
Yeah, I like the barbecue. If you're in LA, go to the Parks Barbecue on Vermont. Parks.
That was a shot in the dark. I guess because of the Houston thing. How about that?
No, this is a Korean barbecue
I
place.
should be a detective. No, keep quiet.
right.
I should be a
Is
detective.
Parks your favorite? Is that the
Yeah.
one you're signing off on
I'm signing
officially?
off on. Yeah.
You support it.
Go there.
All right. What about more theater?
I'd love to do more theater. In fact, I've been thinking about it this year a lot. So if you know someone,
Okay.
preferably New York.
Does the name Andrew
Preferably
Lloyd
Midtown?
Webber mean anything to you?
No.
Because I don't
What
know
about
him at all.
writing and directing?
Yeah, that's another thing that I've been thinking about. I've been this year. I tried when I was younger. I never found myself particularly good with dialogue, but starting to meet writers and see if we could do something in tandem.
Because you have ideas?
Yeah, or seeing if I do have ideas that are
Right.
valid.
It's another muscle. It's another creative outlet.
Yeah.
I recommend it highly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you
Okay.
get into a zone of creativity that you haven't experienced as an actor that feels
Do you write alone?
oddly more fulfilling. I've done both.
You've done both.
Yeah, I don't know that I have a preference. I wrote alone for the longest time, and then I worked with a partner in the last few years, and I love it.
Okay.
But you find you have to have a chemistry, obviously.
Yeah.
Or you don't. But it's just such a different outlet for a creative person to actually invent characters
Right.
and then see them through on their journey, and then you don't have to act them out. You just get to create them and give them life, and it's a trippy thing.
Now, did you write for yourself? If you're writing projects, dramatic projects, were you writing for? Okay.
I have. I mean, I started as a stand-up, so obviously I wrote for my voice and have for way too long. But then creating characters to do, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we had Billy Bob Thornton here, and he talked, at length about the difference it made in his life to write for his own character and how it changed the course of his career.
I'm in I don't know. I would say I'm in a little bit of
Funkadelic?
a creative funk, and maybe the past 2 or 3 years, really, just thinking about, okay, well, how do I?
Something
Seems
else?
really weird to admit that, but how do I get excited? I mean, it's just being increasingly difficult to get excited about the things that come through on the fax machine, as it were, the
Right.
metaphorical fax machine.
Right.
So it takes ridiculous projects to get me excited, and it doesn't seem fair.
Well, then I would say definitely turn to writing.
Yeah.
Because now you can create worlds that you're excited about, or you don't even bother with them.
Right.
I leave you with that, sir. I want you to start gearing up your Larry King game, sir. We've been here 2 hours. Can you believe
boy.
that? Can you fathom that?
Don't act surprised. You've been
Or
warned.
has
You've been warned
Sinatra's Jack
several
Daniels
times.
dampened it so much? Wait, we have a Tweet 5 for you. We've got to give you one of these. Tweet 5 is a little game we play.
Tweet 5.
Oh, you know well.
Oh,
There he is.
he
Thank
might
you,
be
Dave
our first
Koechner.
guest who really knew what he was getting into with the T5.
Yes.
I'm very impressed.
Okay.
I'm very impressed.
Well, I am too.
A lot of our guests are fucking liars. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, they are. I didn't want to put that kind of onus on it because I was.
It's really catchy.
Dave Koechner.
I got to get some food in her. All right. That's why you should have had one sandwich. All right. At Mint Valkyrie. Is that possible? I couldn't possibly have screwed it up. Looks a little minty Valkyrie to me. Tweet 5. Space or time travel? No
What is
correct. No correct answer.
Space or time travel? Time travel.
Comedy or drama?
Comedy.
Star Trek, Star Wars. Not easy.
Not easy. As a kid, Star Wars. As an adult, honestly, Star Trek. Yeah.
A play or a movie?
Movie.
And then the last one, acting versus songwriting.
Acting.
Sir, I want you to gear up that Larry King because it's coming down the pike. And honest to goodness, I've been a genuine fan for a while. And
Oh, thank you. Same here.
no, but really,
Yeah.
but I hate to put too fine a point on it towards the end because it looks like some cozy wrap up. But we really only have people here that, well, it starts with me being fascinated. Or just inspired or interested. It's got to be one of those three. So thanks very much.
Thank you.
It means a lot.
Thank you.
It doesn't take you off the hook, however. That is your camera. When you are ready, you'll be staring down that barrel as if you are Larry King. And again, I'm looking for a bad impression. Got to be bad. Takes all the pressure off doing a good one. Got to be bad. Any voice at all, really. We'll say it's Larry. And then that little, why is he sharing this information about himself? Not about you, about Larry.
Okay.
It's a mistake some guests make. They think they're supposed to share something about themselves, and dear Christ, don't do that. And then you go to the phone. The name of the city should be maybe funny sounding.
We doing it now?
Anytime you're ready, sir.
This is it.
And Sam can't help you.
Okay.
Bad impression,
Bad impression.
too much information, funny sounding city.
Okay.
It's already funny.
This is Larry King. Is that bad?
Yes, great.
Okay. Perfect. I don't know.
That's beautiful.
Saying.
That's beautiful.
This is Larry King. My bagels are now polyp free. Galveston, go!
Yes! That's the way you bring it home, Johnny
Okay.
Joe. Huh?
All
You
right.
kidding me? Guy over here. making it seem like he had nothing.
This guy.
Comes through.
This guy.
Oh, aces, this guy. Thank you, honest to goodness, for
Thank
spending
you,
a couple
sir.
hours with us.
Not at all. It's been a pleasure.
Sit there uncomfortably for just a few more minutes while
Go.
I wrap things up. We have been away. We pre-taped, so we missed you horribly. Please stay with us, and I'll tell you more in the weeks to come about Hulu and Sirius Radio's attempts to license the show in the library and share it with a larger growing audience. And we recently had an inquiry again from a cable television network, which we'll talk about if they make a more serious offer. But we appreciate those of you that are catching up to us on the iTunes, and however you're finding us. We're trying to expand the opportunities to catch the show and tell more about us. But I do want to remind those of you that check us out on a regular basis how much we do appreciate it. It means a great deal because we just love doing it. Next Sunday, the 22nd, is Michael Chiklis, followed by, I'm happy to re-announce, Nick Offerman, our Ron Swanson from Parks and Recs. So happy about that. And then Stephen Tobolowsky, the 5th. And then I think we just locked somebody for the 12th. I know we did, but I'm spacing on it.
Well, fans will go check it out on the site.
They'll have to go on the
If
site
you're
to
curious,
check it
look
out.
We
it
have a
up.
lot of great people, though, coming up. Because
do.
I know, like Allison Brie wants to come on.
Allison Bree's booked
Yeah,
in
she's
July.
booked for July.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to say that we're angling and looking good for Christopher Guest on the 29th, but we are.
Of June.
Of May.
You just said Offerman, no?
Offerman's the 12th. That's who's the 12th.
Aha!
Christopher Guest we're angling for on the 29th, yeah. Hoping to close.
Fingers crossed. If
Momentarily.
anyone knows Chris Guest,
No, I
come on, Kevin, I got this. If anyone knows Chris Guest, just put in a word. We'd appreciate it. Think you're good.
thank you, sir.
No problem.
Appreciate that.
No problem.
And we say so long and thank you, we believe, to our makeup artist, Jennifer Zeig, who's moving up north and getting married and starting a new home and a new life. And we're very, very thrilled for her.
hate to say it,
But
she
she's
was my
coming
favorite.
back on occasion, so we'll see her again. But I did want to give a very special shout out and love to her. The crew, the rest of the crew that works outside the studio, has been working for the last 2 hours and a couple of minutes. Diligently, I have to assume, in order to launch this particular shuttle. However, every now and then I sit here at this moment in the show and wonder exactly what they've been up to for the last couple of hours, if there was some sort of photographic evidence of what's been happening.
Red alert! There's an unstable streaming signature in the second TriCaster reactor core!
You, head to the Alpha Wi-Fi antenna bay and run a diagnostic. McIntyre, there may be injured crew members down there. Find Dr. Chen and escort him to the reactor. You. Oh, red shirt. Check the Ethernet? Doesn't really matter. It's a red shirt. You're gonna die.
No! Oh, nice! Little surprise, they went the other way. They let you down one, and then they gave. And again, J-Mac is Wile E. Coyote.
Now, it seems like Scotty did not know how to beam him up properly.
Oh, that was not. That was a bad beam up.
That was a bad beam up.
Oh, we have our own Kenny.
shame.
They killed Kenny. We have our own. They killed Kenny. Poor J-Mac.
If only my mother was here to play Leonard Nimoy.
I know, right?
Sorry?
We'll share more about that in Naked Carson next time here on the Kevin Pollak's Chat Show. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, please get out of my face.